Oh my gosh, what a beautiful day. I mean, it is picture perfect out there. I call them like the 10% days. Dave Murray sort of refers to them similarly. There's really probably only 10% of the days in the entire year that are this beautiful.
Oh, gorgeous.
A little warmer this afternoon, I suppose. I've been in here for a couple hours. I'm going to the baseball game tonight. I'm very excited because I think it's perfect baseball weather for sure. Cardinals did not fare as well last night. Fred, you didn't go last night, did you?
No, I didn't.
Unfortunately,
I watched.
I did too. I watched the whole game. I just kept holding on to hope at the end, and there was hope because the gap wasn't that big, but they lost the opener against the Rangers. I had kind of forgotten. Frank mentioned this yesterday that Skip Schumacher was the manager of Texas, so it was kind of good to see him. I didn't
fun.
I didn't like see him high-fiving his players after the game. I'd rather see Ollie do that.
Did you see him sent a T-shirt? A Rangers T-shirt.
Skip did to Tarps off.
No.
Oh.
To Ollie.
This
Ollie?
was hilarious.
Oh, no, I don't know this story. Okay.
Ollie shows up to the ballpark, and there is a T-shirt on his desk in his office that is just a bunch of different pictures of Skip Schumacher.
Oh,
and
my
it just
gosh.
says Skip Schumacher. So apparently, Skip said that every time that they come to St. Louis or the Cardinals come to Texas, Ollie and Skip, being the good friends they are, they do like some sort of joke. They give each other something.
Yeah.
And Ollie wears the shirt. Skip's like, I didn't think he was going to wear it. He wore it during all of pregame, on the field for batting practice. So it was a big thing.
I did not know that. That is funny. I love stuff like that, though. That's cool. We love Skip. We don't like him beating the Cardinals right now, but that's
seen a bunch of rally
awesome.
squirrel videos these last couple days.
Yeah,
That was him who was at the plate when the rally squirrel ran by.
Was it
in
really?
2011, yep.
Well, there's a good trivia question for you. Yeah, so we'll have some visitors here in about an hour and a half because Alexa's coming down. Our neighbors, our friend Amanda, who hangs with Alexa a lot, she's of driving age but doesn't really feel safe driving downtown, understandably, so Mom is going to drop them off at 4:30. They're going to the game with me and my friend Ken Dubinsky tonight. Becky's out of town, so we're going to have a great time, and I'm looking forward to seeing some baseball in person. It's crazy, and I think I told you this, that because of the health issues last year, and because the Cardinals weren't that good, I only went to one baseball game the entire year.
Yeah, that's weird.
I went with Scott Jennings and Joe Arnold in May of last year. I think it was maybe even that Memorial Day weekend. It was that game that Arenado had that amazing catch, and then they made the gold seat after he did that. But now I've been to one game already, so this would be my second game, and I'm very much looking forward to getting back into the swing of things with Busch Stadium. Got a bunch of audio that I want to play here, but let me just tell you something that just happened. I don't know if this happens to you guys. So about 20 minutes ago, I get a text message that says, hey, I have your home. Thank you for requesting a home quote with Allstate. I have it ready for you, blah, blah. I'm like, I didn't request anything with Allstate. So then I deleted that right away, right? And then I get a message that said, you have, been chosen. I don't even know what the words were because I deleted it, but it was saying, if you want to get these messages, you can say yes. If you want to opt out, press stop, right? So all caps, I type in stop. The first thing that happens is I get two more of these things.
Yeah, now you've told them that you're alive.
Okay,
so
is that what happened?
Yeah, so you just delete those.
Oh, my God. So two more came in. It said, here, hi, Mary. That's not me. The auto insurance rate for your 2013. Well, maybe not. I mean, that would be my natural transition name. My dead name would be Mark, but all I'd have to do is change the K.
Right, exactly.
I like that. So I'm going to keep that in the back of my noggin for future use because you never know when you want to be a woman. I could want to be a woman at any time. The auto insurance rates for your 2013 Mazda CX-5 are ready at quote Quest. View the rates here. To stop, opt out. Now I don't even want to press stop, right?
No, just
okay, here's another one.
Just block it.
Right.
Delete and block.
Here's another one here. Yeah, these are all local numbers, by the way. Okay, this is a 314
That's
number.
how they get you.
Insuring your home is crucial, Mary. Liberty Mutual is here.
Wait, you're Mary again?
Yeah. When could we talk? If not interested, let me know. Yeah, I'm not interested. Now, Mary is my ex-wife's name, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But that's weird, isn't it?
I did get a text from Mike the other day, and it had to do with property. Like, so if your name is on the tax record, and I thought, what? So I just no.
Okay, so this also happened. I don't know if you guys got this, and I bring this up. We have George Rosenthal from Throttlenet and Tech Talk Tuesday. I always think that this stuff is helpful for the listeners because I can get fooled too. I had an email that came in that said that I had to complete my Odyssey training on something. Now, two things about that. Whenever I get an email from the company that says I have to do training, I ignore it. every time. I just delete it. I've gotten one email, I think, for 4 years about some training that I'm supposed to do.
We're missing the same test.
Yeah, well, okay, I just delete. I don't even know what test that is that I'm not taking. But all I know is that it usually comes to the point where I get a threatening email from one of the bosses, hey, you got to do this, and then I finally do it. But on this one, I just keep deleting. But I had one that came in this morning, and it didn't look like the same type of Odyssey email, and I think it was a phishing thing.
I've been caught on our own fake Odyssey phishing that Odyssey put out.
Right.
Just to say, hey, don't click on these. I mean, and I think,
it had a weird address, and I didn't. But see, now I got a great excuse, because if they come back to me and they say, how come you're not doing your mandatory Odyssey training? I'm like, I don't trust that stuff. I don't want to cost the company one click, and I could cost the company millions. Why would I want to do that, Sue?
Right, you wouldn't.
Exactly. Thank you very much for reaffirming my inability and unwillingness to do the corporate email stuff that comes in on a regular basis. Fred, you're just kind of laughing about this. Do you have a story here?
As I just came in here, I just got a text from my pharmacist saying, we've got some questions about your new prescription. Please get back in touch with us. It's like, oh yeah, so like when would my
exactly.
Pharmacists give you a ring.
Right.
Okay, here's another one though, and this one is very, very common, and I had to check this morning with our friend Shannon Robinson, all right, who is a guest occasionally. This is the Twitter hack, and I don't know how it works, but you'll get a message, and this has happened 4 times, all right? And I've had to alert people each time they've known already. But you get a message in your Twitter messages that says, hey, hope you're doing well. It's always the same phrasing every time. It says, can I ask you something real quick if you don't mind?
Wow.
No, I do mind. First of all, that's not the way that someone like Shannon would approach me. First of all, she would text me, right?
Yes.
And any of the other messages that I've gotten from people, same thing. But what she said to me is, because I texted her, she goes, hack, I'm trying to get back in. She said they took her email and her password, and that they were posting things on her site that were embarrassing, but she didn't have any control of it, because
that is scary.
It is scary,
yes.
and that's why you want to make sure you're on top of changing the passwords and all that stuff on a regular basis. So I thought that was interesting. But these things are look, the one from Odyssey this morning, I almost looked on that because I thought, that's I finally got to do this, and I didn't click on it. So I think that's the wise.
It's always the
wise
best
move for sure. I have something that I want to do a little bit later. I think that will stun you a little bit musically, and that's going to come up after 4 o'clock. We have George here with, Tech Talk Tuesdays. Fred, I haven't looked at his list. His list is usually really long, right?
It's so long. He emailed it to me rather than text.
Yeah, so that's always fun to look at.
But they're great topics.
I read them. Wow.
Josh Kraushaar is coming up from the Jewish Insider. He's 97.1 FM Talk Political Insider. You might hear him on Brian's show in the morning as well. He's a Fox Radio analyst. But look, we have the jungle primary in California. You have Graham Plattner, this disgusting candidate in Maine, meeting with Democrat leaders in Washington. President Trump apparently scolded Bibi over bombing Lebanon, so we got some news there. And then, we haven't talked to Josh in a little while. We'll check in with some of the polling in Texas and the rest of the races. Chris Clem will be here at 3:30. He's really good on the border stuff. We love Chris. We got to know him several years ago, former Yuma Sector Border Patrol chief. He actually went to work for the administration for a little while on a special project in the first year. So Chris will be here. We'll have got my music thing coming up at 4 o'clock. And there's a couple of things related to that. And here's something that I'm going to do this afternoon that's, somewhat rare. It's become a rarity. When I first started doing talk radio 30-something years ago, we would take phone calls all the time. I've kind of gotten away from that just a little bit because of text messaging and people weigh in on the YouTube feed. By the way, when Alexa was here the other day, she was reading the comments on the YouTube feed. They were like, oh, Alexa, you're so cute and all this stuff. So she got a kick out of that. But we're going to take calls on, I had the governor on yesterday, we're going to take calls on the income tax repeal or, phase out. You're going to vote on that in August in our primary, which makes a lot more sense than, June 2nd. I still think that's weird. Although August, people are still on vacations and stuff like that.
True.
But, there's a fair amount of pushback that the governor, that I'm getting, that some other folks are getting when it comes to this income tax deal. So I want to kind of see where the audience is. I want to see where the conservative audience is, because what I'm told is that when they're doing some of these groups, people older than 60 in particular, they don't like it. They don't like what they're hearing. I don't know if they haven't been educated enough. I don't know if the marketing is off, but we'll take some calls on that in the 4 o'clock hour at 4:30. We sometimes call that Telephone Tuesday. There's more Barry Weiss and Scott Pelley details that have come out today. Scott Pelley threw a fit last week. Barry wasn't there, but the arrogance of a guy like Scott Pelley, and I actually drafted an email and it has not been kicked back to me yet. So I think it got to the correct box. But I sent an email this morning to Bill Whitaker, one of the CBS News correspondents, and I was trying to help Bill understand why the rest of the country thinks that 60 Minutes is biased.
Yeah.
And I'll explain this a little bit more when Curtis is on, but I think
I'm glad you did this,
yeah,
Mark.
Well, and I was very nice to Bill.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you'd like to come back into town and correct your journalistic malpractice, we would love to have you. So I'll read my email. I'm just hoping it got through. These things will kind of kick back to you every once in a while. And then let me. Here, Fred and Sue, you need to kind of take your headphones off or just go out of the room for just 1 second. Because,
really?
Well, not really. But I just have to comment on this because I was very well behaved for 6 months because the room didn't like it when I talked about the road closing by my house. So Hillsborough Road, which was closed for 15 months by the city of Valley Park and West Contracting, which has to be one of the worst contractors in the area, just based on the results that I've seen. They closed this road down for 15 months. Right? 15 months. It's supposed to be done in November. This is so emblematic of what government does, right? The first weekend they open it, there's a hard rain, part of the road buckles. Not even making this up.
Yeah, that's bad.
We're 2.5 weeks now from the road opening, right? This morning, they repaved an entire section of about 50 yards of the road that they had already paved a few weeks ago. Now, why they did that, I think there was something, I saw something on a message board about a subcontractor screwing up. Let me just assure you that, and this is, one of the reasons I talk about this is because this is happening everywhere. Look at California and some of the nonsense that happens out there. Like Ronald Reagan said, government is not the solution. It's the problem. Valley Park screwed this thing up from the beginning. The contractor clearly didn't know and still doesn't know what they're doing. And isn't it just perfect that 2 weeks after they have to repave an entire... Who's paying for that? Who is paying for that? Now, I did a Freedom of Information request, you might remember, with our friends at Valley Park. Heard back from them. I'm told that by this Friday, I will have all of the emails between West Contracting and Valley Park for the past 3 years. So we'll see where that takes us. I'll keep you posted. I know Sue and Fred are most interested.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
I'm going to let you go through all those, but I'll take the good ones.
Okay, I will. I'll siphon. It's going to take me months probably.
Yeah. Westbound 70 out of downtown looks fine. A little bit slow west of 94 and at Wentzville. 64, that's moderate volume, and it's Hampton out through McCausland. Then it's slowing at Highway N out through the 70 split. Now southbound 270, moderate volume from Page down through Ladue Road. It's also a little bit slow as you approach Gravois. 55 is in great shape. On the Illinois side, we've got eastbound 70 slow at 64, and there's road work on 5570 eastbound, and it's really pretty slow, approaching 203, and that jam goes back past 64. Eastbound 64 jams approaching 255 through the construction zone to 157. This report is brought to you by Point with an E Pest Control. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Point Pest Control is reminding you it's time to spray for mosquitoes. How can something that tiny interrupt your outside gatherings? Have Point Pest Control spray today so your next outside gathering is mosquito-free. 636-798-0023. Mention Annie to save an additional 10%. PointPestControl.com.
I saw a post this morning on the Facebook, as we call it, from my dear old friend Karen Kelly. Karen used to work in radio. Actually, used to work here at 97.1 FM Talk, and she was in Innsbruck over the weekend. I hope she doesn't mind that I'm talking about her because she was posting pictures. It looked fantastic. It's so much fun out there. It's only about an hour away from St. Louis. They like to say where every day is the weekend. And, look, this is a great idea for those of you. Let me pitch a couple of different thoughts here. If you're looking at a vacation, you're like, the prices are crazy, gas prices are too high. Do a staycation at Innsbruck. Rent a property. You'll have a blast hiking. We do dog-friendly properties. It really is amazing. The kids will love the lazy river, the pool. They have a lot of entertainment. The 4th of July is awesome out there. They also have a great golf course, and that's public, so you don't have to be, living out there or anything like that. You can make a tee time and still enjoy the golf course. And then there's living and in building out there, and they have options for you with great home types that are very unique, including treehouse designs, which don't look anything like a treehouse that you might be thinking of. The Sonnenhaus, which was a newer style. Of course, they have the A-frame chalets that have been out there for decades and decades. Those aren't like full-time properties. Those are really weekend properties. But you could live full-time. You can even build a custom home at Innsbruck. Find out more at Innsbruck-resort.com.
License number GL2500615.
Hey, Dad, what causes drains to clog?
Grease, hair, soap scum, and tree roots.
Tree roots?
This town has old pipes and big trees. They find each other.
They grow inside pipes?
They bust into pipes.
Whoa.
Once they're in, the water stops flowing.
Can we fix it?
The big green grasser machine can fix any clog.
Green is always grasser at grasserhomeservices.com.
See website for details. BillsHappen.com is not a lender. It does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. Not available in all states.
Honey, everything is so expensive, and our bills are piling up.
You're telling me credit cards are maxed out, rent is due, and the car payment's right around the corner? We need some extra cash.
We should do what my friend from work did. She went to BillsHappen.com and got the money she needed the next day.
Our credit is not great. Are you sure that would work for us?
BillsHappen.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with all credit types get up to $5,000.
Sounds like it's going to be a hassle.
My friend said it was super easy. She did it right from her phone during her lunch break.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan for up to $5,000, and your cash can hit your bank account the next day. BillsHappen.com's lenders have millions of dollars to lend, regardless of your credit history.
Guess what? I went to BillsHappen.com, and we're getting our money tomorrow.
Wow, that's fast. Problem solved.
If you need extra cash, go to BillsHappen.com. That's BillsHappen.com. BillsHappen.com.
This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
We are trying to get Josh Kraushaar on the line, and we have some communication issues. But let me play some of the audio here that I wanted to get to anyway. I planned on doing some of that in the opening, and I did not get to that. The first one is, who did the briefing today, because Carolyn is still out. I guess she's probably still going to be out until the end of July, wouldn't you think?
I would
because
think.
of the baby. So it was Dr. Oz who did the, they're kind of working through the members of the cabinet. He did the briefing today, and he was asked about last week. Remember, they sat down, they were going to do this at Camp David, but they ended up doing it at the White House. They had a cabinet meeting. So Dr. Oz was asked who performed the best at that.
I mean, they're all obviously different. I think Scott Besant's dry humor is fabulous. Marco is just an earnestly funny person. We can tell all kinds of stories about Marco's entertaining commentary. I think JD was spectacular. He's just very on his game, understands the issues, and he understands the American people, which is I appreciated his presentation so much. And I did watch them all, by the way, just to prepare. I'm a doctor. I try to do my homework. I prepped for the case.
Very diplomatic from Dr. Oz this morning. Josh Kraushaar, 97.1 FM Talk political insider, editor-in-chief of the Jewish Insider, political analyst for Fox Radio. You hear him on Brian Kilmeade's show every week as well. Hello, Josh. How are you? Welcome back.
Hey, Mark. Good to be back with you.
Lots of things to talk about. Let me start with California and the jungle primary out there. Obviously, you've had Spencer Pratt making some noise against Karen Bass. Hard for me to believe in the end he's going to be the next mayor of Los Angeles. But he's kind of tapped into something. He kind of calls it common sense. So what would your expectations at this point be in California for both that race and the governor's race? Or are they a little too close to call at this point?
Well, in California, the likelihood of both races are going to be heading to runoffs if no candidate hits 50%.
Right.
So I think the big question is just how vulnerable Karen Bass is, polling well under 50% and polls, and she's splitting the vote with a aligned candidate. So look, I think a lot of voters in Los Angeles are concerned about crime and homelessness and the recovery from the fires that happened over a year ago. But it also is a very democratic city. So I think it's going to be a real challenge for Pratt to win the overall election, but he does have a fight chance to finish in the top 2 tonight.
So hang on, Josh. We're gonna call you right back. We do not have a good phone line right now, so I'm gonna play a little audio here that relates to that, and then we'll see if we can get back on. If not, we'll have to, rearrange something. First of all, the folks on The View, they addressed this. I was shocked. They actually think he's disgusting as well out in Maine. Graham Plattner.
Why can't we have better candidates? So he's a cheater. He's an anti-Semite because the fact that he had that tattoo for 20 years and didn't know what it was is a lie. So he's a liar, a racist, an anti-Semite.
Homophobe.
He's a homophobe. Yeah. So he's all the things, and character does matter.
Wow, that was shocking to me that The View took that view on Graham Plattner, which is accurate. And then you have Chuck Schumer and some of the leadership, because he's on Capitol Hill today, basically saying that they're not backing down from their endorsement. Here's Chucky Schumer.
You have not said if you're still endorsing Graham Plattner. Are you still supporting Graham Plattner?
As I said, I endorsed Graham Plattner. We're going to beat Susan Collins and take back the Senate.
That I want to hear Josh's opinion on that, but unfortunately we can't get him back on. There was something else that I was going to play when it came to Pratt, because he was on with Bill Maher over the weekend. This is probably something that's going to resurface in a couple hours for Cut of the Day. But I thought this was interesting. Now, Maher's really been calling out a lot of the liberal nonsense out there, right? But he tries to have, and I don't know, I will be honest, I didn't see the whole segment, so I'm not sure what the lead-in to this was when they start to talk about like solar panels and some of the environmental stuff that's going on in California. But listen to the end here, because this is like total mic drop moment.
I don't need to know about solar, Okay, I need to focus on making sure the moms are safe and the animals are not being abused. That's my party.
I know, but if you're the mayor...
the solar panels, that's going to be somebody I'm hiring. That's my deputy mayor is going to worry about the solar panels.
No, Spencer, I got bad news. If you're the mayor, you are going to have to learn some of these issues more.
Solar panels. We're about 3 years from worrying about solar panels. We need to get all the naked drug addicts off of the sidewalks, and then I can worry about solar panels.
I thought that was such a great answer. Yeah. Bill was trying to say, okay, you really... No, how about not? That's not going to be what our priority is. We're going to talk about things that really matter to the community. This is where I think even, Mayor Spencer's kind of gotten off track here in St. Louis, unfortunately. Did we lose him for good? Yeah, it's just I don't,
terrible.
That's been happening with Josh's line lately. I don't know why either. We're going to have to. It happens with a couple of people.
Yes,
and I don't know if it's because where they are in their office or their home. I'm not completely sure on that, but that's unfortunate because I wanted to hear his take on some of these things. But I do like the fact, again, on the Spencer Pratt thing, that he doesn't, back down.
Agreed.
What I really would think it would be interesting here if, and I think it's going to happen. I think that, they're going to finish 1 and 2 and that he'll be in this runoff against Karen Bass. Now, what that means in the end, I don't know, because it's a Democrat city. Everybody always holds out hope. Oh, will there be a miracle? Will people kind of, change their minds? Is there, we talked about this yesterday with Brian Ping from KNX in Los Angeles. Is there this undercurrent, not unlike there was with Trump, where people don't want to admit that they're going to vote for, Spencer Pratt, but they will.
It could be.
Yeah, I think
that could be.
I will say, and this is, and I think I even told Brian this yesterday, this is anecdotal, of course. This is not like a poll, but I will tell you that, I have a fair number of people who are friends in Los Angeles that work in the Hollywood community, whether they're writers, actors, or directors. And there's a few that are whacked out crazy lefty. My friend Rod Lurie, who's a really good director and filmmaker, but he's just full-on TDS right now, and I don't know what's happened to him. I'm very concerned. There's a couple other people like that, too. But I'm not going to mention the names of the other people, but what I will tell you from conversations with the other people is that they will vote, or they have voted for Trump. They will vote for Spencer Pratt, but they cannot amplify their political,
Yes, the fires were such a disaster. And it was handled so poorly. And these are people of means, as we know on this show. And how long are you going to put up with these people on the street, the drug addicts, the issues like that in your nice, or what can be, neighborhoods and that are now decimated by fires? And then you try to rebuild, and they have such red tape that it's difficult to even do that.
Yeah, and I think people are sick and tired of that.
Yes.
The question is, because he's going to be labeled, they're trying to tag him to Trump and all that stuff, and a Republican, even though it's technically a nonpartisan thing, he keeps saying, look, I'm the common sense guy.
I just want people to feel safe. I want families to be able to thrive in the city, and it takes the whole city to actually change.
So one of the reasons that, this might be his benefit. But again, you know how Democrat voters usually choose, that he is an outsider.
That's how I win, because I say, hey, everybody, this isn't working. We all know it, and we're paying for the destruction of our own city. But they can't say it because they won't get reelected because they're deep in this failure. They would be better off to just say, hey, this didn't work. We're going to pivot. We tried this one, but we have a new plan, but they can't.
So I love, Karen Bass. One of the things they hit Spencer Pratt with is that he's got no experience, right? They even say that he hasn't ever held a job, which maybe he hasn't. He was a reality TV star.
It's not just that he has no experience in city government. I don't know that he's ever held a job in his life other than to be a reality TV star.
Mrs. Bass, isn't a reality TV star a job? He made millions of dollars. Thank you.
I don't know if that's a job.
Oh, that's
though.
interesting.
But
well,
here's what I would say. I go a different direction. Mayor Bass, you have a ton of political experience, and you can't do the job.
Correct.
So why
That's
would
exactly
why
what I
would
was
political
thinking.
experience mean anything after the disaster that you've brought to Los Angeles? And Brian mentioned this yesterday, and this is one of those things that's an undercurrent in California that really did bring the entire state out, because they made this, and this is in the aftermath of Mike Brown. And it might have been in the aftermath of George Floyd, but it was around the same time where they passed this nonsensical thing that says, if you steal less than $950, that's a misdemeanor. We're going to give you clearance up until about $1,000. And then what did you have? Well, of course, you had gangs of teenagers that were breaking,
Idiots.
windows down, grabbing shoes and jewelry and you name it, because they knew there weren't going to be any consequences. So the state of California, as a whole, even though they had voted for some of this nonsense, said, wait, we've gone way, way too far on this. We have to rein it back in. And 70%, Brian talked about this yesterday, 70% of California voters agreed with that. That's an enormous number.
It is.
Now, granted, you have people that live in the outstate area of California, and there's some conservative areas, but the urban areas, I mean, you got Los Angeles, San Francisco combined, two of the biggest cities on the planet, with a lot of people who are minorities who will never, ever vote Republican, even if they were forced to do it. But I hold out a little hope that maybe they can at least have something where it turns into a conversation with this campaign moving forward. Now, on the governor's race, I got no way to tell what that's going to be, because if Steve Hilton doesn't finish first or second, you can kiss California goodbye. If this Tom Steyer guy takes over, I mean, he'd be entertaining for talk show hosts, but good Lord.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Traffic-wise, if you are westbound on 70, it looks fine out of downtown. Slow, just a little west of 94. Then it opens up. 6440, that is a slow go. And it's mainly Hampton out through the Hanley area. But we've got an accident just past Lake St. Louis Boulevard, and that's left us with a jam not quite to Wing Haven. So a slow go there. And southbound 270, moderate volume Page through Doherty Ferry. Southbound 170, a little slow there, ramping onto eastbound 64, which is slow at Big Bend. On the Illinois side, eastbound 64 jams approaching 255 through the construction zone at 157. Eastbound 70 slowing at 64. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Honey, I found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Oh, you are, but this one's certified, background check, shows up on time, and can install all the ceiling fans.
Heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. Trusted pros who do it right.
All right, I want you guys to make an appointment at Game Day Men's Health. Matt Lawrence has two clinics in the area that are outstanding in O'Fallon, Missouri, and in Chesterfield. The Chesterfield location I've been to, it's right at 6440 Clarkson and Olive. They're still offering you a free 1-hour visit. So in that visit, they'll take blood work right away, get you back with some results, and then you can talk about what your goals are. It may be testosterone replacement therapy to give you more energy so you feel like yourself again, because obviously each and every year as you get older, some of that kind of fades away. You want to make sure that you have enough energy to live your life, to play with the kids, etc. The other thing that's really gotten popular these days, and Matt will tell you there's misinformation about peptide injections and some of the vitamin stuff, but they do peptide injections, vitamin B12, Mike lipotropic B12 injections. So some of these things I can't even really pronounce or explain, but they can. Matt can at Game Day Men's Health. So make an appointment, take advantage. They pride themselves on that 1-hour appointment, because then you don't have to take the whole day off from work or anything like that. So check out Game Day Men's Health. Take advantage of the 1-hour visit. Book an appointment today. Do it online at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. They're in Chesterfield and in O'Fallon.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is who do you hire. At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. One question I'm always asked is, how did you become the largest injury firm in the world with over 1,000 attorneys and $25 billion in verdicts and settlements? One way was our financial strength. Medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death in America. To prosecute a typical case costs up to $250,000 in case costs. We advance them all. Product liability cases can have similar costs with an army of lawyers on the other side. Automobile insurance companies have the resources to fight. Guess what? So do we. Many law firms simply may not have the financial firepower to work up your case the way you deserve. And we don't charge by the hour. No recovery, no fee. If you have a question about your case or wish to become a client, go to forthepeople.com on your mobile device or computer. 24/7. It's that easy. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Yeah, this portion of the show is sponsored by our friends at Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. Where common sense rules the mic. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
I think I admitted yesterday I have not spent a lot of time here in the last week or so on these protests in New Jersey at Delaney Hall. Mark Wayne Mullen, who is the new HHS secretary, said this, Homeland Security, said this about New Jersey.
What are you specifically doing to protect these ICE officers who are just trying to do their jobs?
Well, first of all, we have zero tolerance. The president and I have talked about this. If you verbally assault our officers, if you attack our vehicles, if you attack our property, you attack the person themselves, we will arrest you.
Okay, so on the topic of verbal assaults, this is from last Friday with a protester.
Come on, children, your wife, come on, Dad. Put it, my boy. I have your face, mother. You're dead. Dead.
My understanding is he's been arrested, but he was making threats toward the officer and the officer's family as well. Chris Clem back with us, former Yuma Sector Border Patrol Chief. Chris, that's quite something what's going on in New Jersey right now, isn't it? My goodness.
Hey, good afternoon, and to you and everybody. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I got to tell you, this protest fatigue is real. I mean, I'm just sick of it and sick and tired of it. And then to see this escalated like we've seen just on the clip you just aired regarding that protester threatening the agent and his family. Yes, he has been arrested. Yes, he's going to be charged with assault because that would be considered assault. And I'm glad that Secretary Mullen has stood the line by saying, hey, you know what, we're not going to tolerate that. And I know that he's got the backing of the president because I've been in those type of meetings in the past. But this is just, more of the same of the ridiculousness that's coming out of the left. And this has all been manufactured and created on purpose to just disrupt this president's agenda on immigration accountability, border security, and the rule of law. And, it's enough's enough. Before I go back to you on this, I read something or heard something yesterday on one of the news outlets that out of the arrests that were made the other night, only 3 were from the Newark, New Jersey. The rest of them are from all over the country.
Outsiders,
So
the
this is
agitators.
Organized,
Right.
Yeah, exactly, right? Exactly.
Well, so, a couple things about that. That's true. And if that is true, then you shouldn't be reading that in a couple of outlets. You should be reading that in all the outlets, right? Because that's a significant part of the story. But instead, I just looked up Will Cain shows on Fox right now, Chris. I look up, you had the governor of New Jersey up there, and they keep making these claims, the elected officials, that it's the ICE officers that are causing this. I mean, they're out there with masks and they're trying to protect themselves. And you have people literally threatening their lives, as we heard, tangling with them violently. I mean, it's a mess out there. We're lucky that more people have not been hurt. I think I give the ICE officers, a lot of credit for restraint, given the videos and the nature of the videos that I've seen so far, Chris.
Yeah, the governor is certainly backpedaling to her base again because she came out with the mayor. I think the mayor, I don't know the mayor's name, I don't recall her name, but she was very strong about, look, we are not going to tolerate this. The state police and the local police will arrest you if you're assaulting. We've created this, First Amendment area. And the governor kind of did that, but then she's like, because we know what ICE is capable of.
Right.
She immediately threw it back on ICE's problem. Look, you know what? What she should be saying is we know what poor policies, we know what rhetoric, we know what organized chaos can do. It puts people in harm's way, and it lets the weak-minded, like the Renee Goods and Alex Pretties, get into a place where they can't get out of. It's poor policies what she should be talking. ICE is upholding the law passed by Congress. So, Mikey Sherrill, she sure did backpedal real quick when she realized that she was, oh my gosh, how dare a governor actually support law enforcement? She sure did backpedal. But I'm glad the state police came out there and they brought all their, I saw the state police horse patrol out there, and some of the video footage. But you're right. Why are we only hearing that on one or two outlets about these organized mobsters? Because at the end of the day, it shows you this is the Democratic machine pushing this type of, protest. They're not even protests. They're riots. Let's call it what they are. Enough of this dancing around. These aren't protests.
No, they're riots.
This isn't somebody with they're riots. That's what it is.
So let me ask you about, because one of the things that these protesters and the rioters are trying to point out is that they have all these terrible conditions inside this Delaney Hall detention facility, which, by the way, is operated, I think, privately, right? So they're complaining about medical neglect, health and sanitation, all these things. And then when the truth actually comes out about what the menu is and what they do and how they're treated, it's completely opposite of that, right?
Yeah, so let me just give you and the audience how this works. First of all, you have federal buildings, you have federal detention centers, you also have the contracts that the government uses, right? Because we don't have enough government-owned facilities. So they contract with these type of groups. I don't know who's running the contract, but there are minimum requirements, and the federal standard, in other words, the federal minimum requirement is over and above most state and local detention requirements. In fact, some state and local and county sheriffs can't even house federal detainees because they can't meet the minimum requirement.
Right.
So that standard is so high, and the cost per day, it's very beneficial for locals to take on government contracts or government detention because the standards are so high. And the other part that I want to point out is these are people that have either criminal records, they're illegal aliens with orders of removal, or they're just overall illegal aliens. And they're all given options for attorneys. And so the point I'm making is that they really are in these dilapidated conditions, that their foods, there are multiple avenues to address those complaints. And it starts with their attorney that's assigned to their case. So we're not hearing these things. We're only or seeing that play out. We're only hearing it from the usual suspects. The same group of, Congress that's going to show up at every one of these facilities, the same NGOs and the same protesters. I mentioned I was on News Nation yesterday, and I said, look, I don't want to see Secretary Mullen going tit for tat on every, allegation, but, put the transparency out there in the sense of this is who is in these facilities. This is the pedophile. This is the trafficker. This is the person that has 3 outstanding warrants. This is who we're detaining. And by the way, here's the menu of items. Here's how they get fed. And one last thing I'll say, Mark, is when I was spending $60,000 a day in my soft-sided facility when I was chief in Yuma to house people for 3 to 4 days. And they had wraparound medical services, 24-hour care, and 24-hour access to snacks and 2 hot meals a day. So that's the minimum standards at the federal level. And these people are living better than some of our veterans that are looking for a handout because their requirements are there. And again, these are people that are here illegally that are being charged with some kind of administrative or criminal offense. So, I really don't have much to say other than the fact that this is just the same typical narrative that's getting exhausting because no one listens to the truth.
Yeah, look, I think that they've done they can do a better job, to your point, of pointing out some of the ridiculous claims by the protesters before letting some of this get out of hand and violent. And I think I've heard some of that the last couple of days. But I don't even know, what is it that made them focus on that detention facility? Was it something in particular that happened, or do you know?
I don't know for fact, but remember, this is, I think, the same location, or at least the general location where the New Jersey congressman assaulted the ICE agent. So I think that has gotten attention. It's in Cory Booker's backyard. It's close by. I think that that's just one of those areas because it just there. I don't know of any other trigger points other than this was that congresswoman's district, and I think she was putting stuff out there. And again, you can follow multiple Democrats on social media, and they're literally, they can be in California or New Jersey, and they're quoting the same quote.
Of course, yeah. The talking points spread very quickly. Yeah, Chris Clem,
Yeah,
always great to have you on. Thank you so much for the info. We'll see what happens with New Jersey, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
You got it,
All
brother.
right.
Talk to you soon.
Take care.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads, we've got some volume out there. If you're westbound on 64, it's the usual. So approaching Hampton out through McCausland, and it's mainly moderate. Southbound 170, though, is slow, approaching 64 and ramping on. And eastbound is slowing at Big Bend. But then westbound picks up volume. There was an accident past Lake St. Louis Boulevard, so slow-moving traffic just west of Winghaven to that accident, and then things open up. Southbound traffic on 270 is slow pockets between Olive and Gravois. Now a report of an accident westbound 6440 just before Baxter. So past Clarkson, look for a little bit of a delay in that area. 55 is in good shape, at least south of downtown. But we've got westbound 44 jammed, headed for the just the depressed section there in front of the Arch grounds. So a slow go there due to an accident, and that's causing eastbound 44 to slow as well. On the Illinois side, heavy traffic through the construction zone. Eastbound 64, 111 to 157. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I always talk about, because they're a great sponsor, Mike Reynolds is a friend, Michael's Flooring Outlet at igotfloor.com. They do have a great tool, and I know a lot of companies have this tool, but it's very helpful when it comes to maybe doing a little bit of the early homework on what you might want to do with your flooring project. Now, I would my recommendation is skip all this, go right into the store, talk to them in Old Town St. Peter's, Darien Prairie, or in West County and Olive. However, if you want to try this, you go to the section on the website that says inspiration, and you can visualize your room, and you can upload a picture, put some of the flooring products next to it, see how it looks with your room. I like to see and touch things in person, so if you swing into one of those 3 locations, you'll have team members that have a ton of experience that can guide you into the right products with the right technology for your lifestyle. If you have pets, if you have a little bunny rabbit jumping around your house like I do, you might be looking for different flooring than other folks. So they'll guide you into the best product for your lifestyle and your budget as well. Those 3 great locations are open every day except for Sunday. igotfloor.com is the website, Michael's Flooring Outlet.
What's happening now?
I give him all the credit in the world for the hold that he has on Republican voters.
We're talking about it.
The typical American family has gained about $3,000.
97.1 FM Talk.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Fry, and Mark Reardon, along with Bob and Tammy Kershaw of the Retirement Advisor Group, to learn how to create your worry-free retirement. We'll meet June 16th at the Doubletree Hotel in Chesterfield at 6:30. Here are Bob and Tammy with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering how to turn your 401k and IRA into a worry-free retirement? Would you like to learn the strategies that give you market growth but protects you from market losses at the same time?
Would you like to get a free personalized retirement income plan? And did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to create a worry-free retirement? If you're 59 and a half or older, you cannot afford to miss this event.
Have a worry-free retirement. Join the official financial advisors of my show, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, at the Doubletree Hotel in Chesterfield, Tuesday, June 16th at 6:30. Go to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
You're listening to The Mark Reardon Show, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
As I was perusing my topics this morning and all the sources that I go to on Real Clear Politics, I saw a piece come up from Salon, which is not exactly a conservative publication, but the headline, Sue, kind of intrigued me a little bit. It said, "Do Americans really know how much the world hates us?" Okay. And this person talked about how they were putting one of their college-age children on a plane to Berlin on a month-long, theater project or something like that. I mean, that's kind of fun for high school kids or college kids. I went to Spain when I was 18 years old, and it was, one of the thrills of my life, and it really opened my eyes to a lot of things. But the point of this person, let's see who wrote this. I really don't care, but it's Andrew O'Haher. Basically says that, you have America has lost its luster with all the people from around the world. Then she points out that there are 20,000 Americans who applied for Irish citizenship in 2025, and that's kind of a all-time high. 9,000 applied for British citizenship, which I guess is more difficult and expensive. Italy has new restrictions to its previously generous citizenship laws, potentially slamming the door on millions of Americans with relatively distant Italian ancestry. Canada has done the opposite. So this person goes on and on and on. And here's my take. I don't care what the rest of the world thinks of us. Now, what I'll tell you about the rest of the real world, because they want to talk about the governments of the world, I think. The real people that live in Europe, and I can base this on some conversations I've had in the past few years. I was in Spain and I was in Greece, okay? Anecdotal, but still. They all want to be us. If you think that you're going to go to a foreign country because you've had some sort of rights taken away from you in this country, when you, no matter whether you're gay or straight or cis or, trans, you have more rights than you'll ever have anywhere. I emphasize this with my daughter all the time. They didn't have the freaking internet in Iran, right? They cut the internet. So the people, why do you think our culture and our music rises to the top of the planet? Because they want to be like us. They envy our freedoms. The ironic thing is my conversations with mainly Western Europeans, they're more proud of America than some Americans that have hated this country, and it's utterly ridiculous. So piggybacking on that, in a cute way, let's talk to some kids. I heard them do this on Fox today.
Oh, cute.
And we have a kids montage, if you will, Sue, of why they love America.
Oh.
And I think we will, in the coming weeks leading up to July 4th, express many, many different ways. And I think, one of the things that some of us, and let's face it, if we're older, we say this, that the younger generation simply does not have the appreciation for the freedoms that exist in this country. And some of these freedoms, people might not like gambling, which has now become legal in Missouri, or pornography, or things along those lines that adults, not children, should have access to. But we enjoy the freedom to actually post things on social media, in theory, and not have a police officer knock on our door. In Germany, I ain't talking East Germany from 50 years ago. I'm talking in Germany right now. They are proud of the fact that they have Gestapo-like tactics going after people for their opinions on social media. Sharon Alfonsi, one of the ones that got fired from CBS last week, did this whole piece on that, actually never once raising a question about how that's horrifying, right? It's happening in Britain, too. So for those of you morons out there, and I know I'm not talking to my audience, but if people want to move to other countries, go for it. Get the hell out. Take some of the illegals with you, if you wouldn't mind, because you're never, ever going to have an experience like the American experiment. You just won't, because we're unique in that fashion. We're not perfect, but we keep evolving. You know, it was crazy. So when I was you've been overseas, you're in Greece, Europe, you think about thousands of years, right? We got several hundred years, 250 just as a nation, but not that much beyond that when it comes to the way that the country formed, right? And even 250 years ago, we're in a state right now that was run by France and then by Spain for a while, and then finally became part of the United States. But here's the cute factor. You ready for the cute factor? These are kids.
Yes.
I heard this on Fox. What do they like about American freedom?
Hi, my name is Luke. I am 6.5 years old. I love America because when I grow up, I can be whatever I want to be. Hi, I'm Ella. I'm 4 years old, and I love America, and it's beautiful. I love America because we have our freedom. America is the best! USA! I love America because we have freedom that allows me to chase my dreams. I love America because it makes us all free. I love America because we have the greatest military and we're free.
Oh, wow.
Hi, my name is Clem. I'm 4 years old. I like America because there's parks and libraries. I love that girls can be whatever they want to be.
What do you want to be?
A quantum physicist.
Wow.
I like America because I like the American flags. I love America because we live in the land of the free.
Why do you love America?
I love my church because I get to learn about God.
Do you love America?
Yeah.
Why do you love America?
I don't know that.
So, kids are easily manipulated. I don't know if they have the appreciation for the freedom that they have. But, I always talk sometimes about my Uber drivers because there's two that really stick out. One was from last summer when I was sick and I couldn't drive. And I took an Uber on the way back from getting a haircut. And it was when I was going through the anxiety. And this dude had an American hat on. And I can't remember exactly where he was from. It was somewhere in Africa, but I don't want to say the wrong country. Anyway, he could not have been more thrilled with America. He was so proud to be an American. He loved the freedoms. He knows what it was like, what his family members are experiencing, right? And then I refer to this. I had this saucy little Cuban Uber driver in Las Vegas about 7 or 8 years ago, and she was amazing. And she was so pissed off about how people in this country did not appreciate the freedoms. Now, this has changed, but I've used this talking point for a while because for the longest time, and this has only changed, I think, in the last 5 years, if you were not amongst the elite in the ruling class in Cuba, you could not eat a hamburger. You could not have a steak. You could have a cow for milking purposes. But think about little things like that. We have no idea how, how free we are because we don't have the ability to compare and contrast and see what happens in other countries. But those kids do more than most adults, I'd say, at this point.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, on the roads, we've had some issues out there this afternoon. If you are headed on westbound 6440, there was an earlier accident near Big Bend, and now it looks like it's eastbound and jamming up eastbound drivers. But westbound has returned to normal. It looks just moderate volume there. And that's from Kings Highway out through McCausland. Southbound 170, though, is slow at 64. Now, westbound 70 out of downtown is fine. It's a little bit slow at 141. And then in pockets, it's just moderate volume in pockets. But past 94 out through Wentzville. Now, 64 out west, there was an accident near Lake St. Louis Boulevard. That has created slow-moving traffic, not quite back to Winghaven. And southbound 270, slow pockets of moderate volume approaching Olive, down through Gravois on the Illinois side. A jam eastbound 64 headed for 157. And in the DeBrest section, right there in front of the Arch grounds, there was an accident on eastbound 44, traffic slowing in both directions. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Brought to you by USPS Ground Advantage.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast.
Pump up the volume.
When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
You know, Banner Construction had its 30-year anniversary a couple of years ago. I can't believe it's been 3 years. They started in 1993, and the goal has been relatively simple. They wanted to be the group here in St. Louis that would help move your dreams and ideas to reality with your home's exterior, and that's what they've done. They've served over 8,000 clients in the metro area, really giving them great results with some amazing products. One of those products is James Hardie Fiber Cement Siding. And it's beautiful, and it lasts for a long time, and they specialize in it. They're even chosen by Hardie as an elite provider. Same thing with Pella replacement windows. So they can help you with either of those products, and it all starts with a consultation. It's a free consultation. They'll have you over, and they'll explain everything. They'll draw up a plan, and then you can enjoy your home newly renovated or whatever they do for you, and you're going to be happy for a long, long time. Now, we always want to point out that these are projects that take a long time and they take planning. So you want to get on the horn as soon as you can. It's a free in-home design consultation, bannerconstruction.com.
Zero Res wants to help you clean your home. Big summer savings right now. 3 rooms clean starting at $129. Plus, take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and ask for the 97.1 special.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4333. 314-887-4333. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-887-4333.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
According to MasterCard, nearly half of small businesses have been a victim of a cyber attack. As cybercrime escalates, ThrottleNet is calling on businesses to strengthen their security posture by taking a free online IT security audit right from your desk. This 3-minute online assessment provides an immediate score to see security gaps and vulnerabilities in your network. For 26 years, ThrottleNet has supported your business IT everything right here in St. Louis. In fact, no client of ThrottleNet has ever paid a ransom. So visit throttlenet.com/971 to take the free assessment today.
KFTK FM Florissant, an Odyssey station.
Head of Homeland Security is back on Capitol Hill. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
At your confirmation hearing, you did promise that you would get DHS out of the headlines. We took you at your word, but nothing has really gotten better.
Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy among the Democrats taking issue with the treatment of immigrants, especially at Delaney Hall in New Jersey. That detention center in Newark, the latest flashpoint over ICE operations. Murphy says laws are being broken.
We're enforcing laws that Congress did pass. That's reckless. When you start saying it's unconstitutional, what's unconstitutional that we're doing? We swore to uphold the Constitution, just like you swore to uphold the Constitution.
Secretary Markwayne Mullin also pointing to recent inspections of Delaney Hall by New Jersey health officials. But the state and the city of Newark have filed a lawsuit claiming they're not getting full access. Acting U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche just confirming the Trump administration is scrapping plans to create a nearly $1.8 billion fund meant to compensate people claiming they've been targeted in political prosecutions. That fund has been facing bipartisan criticism criticism and challenges in court. President Trump accepts an invitation to a rescheduled dinner for the White House Correspondents Association after an April event was cut short by the shooting at a Secret Service checkpoint in the Washington Hilton Hotel.
The WHCA says it will not allow an act of violence to have the last word. In a social media post, President Trump calls the announcement a sign of strength and fortitude and says he has accepted an invitation from the association's president to speak. He says the event will be at the Waldorf Astoria, a hotel once owned by the Trump Organization. WHCA President Weijia Zhang says the rescheduled dinner will feature significantly enhanced safety measures and will be a more intimate gathering.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. That rescheduled dinner is set for July 24th. America is listening to Fox News.
Here's the tale of the daily med fill. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings wrangler rode in, cool as can be. Tap Good RX, saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. The deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check Good RX. Good RX is not insurance.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Our days continue to get longer. That sunset hanging right around 8 o'clock in the evening, and it's a beautiful evening. Clear skies, 57 for the overnight low. On Wednesday, sunny skies, nice day from start to finish. Comfortable humidity levels, 81. Wednesday night, clear skies, 59. Thursday, sunny. It's a little warmer, 86. Friday, partly sunny, spot of afternoon showers and thunder showers. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
All right, we're getting you through a Tuesday afternoon here on 97.1 FM Talk, and we all wish we were outside, and I hope you are because the weather is beautiful. I'm very excited going to the Cardinals game tonight. So that will be exciting. My second game. Fred, you've been to a bunch already, haven't you?
Yeah, maybe 5 or 6.
I'm going to start going to more games, though, here. Now that, although I don't like going when it's like 150 degrees, like to a day game or anything like that.
It's terrible. I'm going briefly on Saturday.
Well, that'll be what do you mean briefly? What does that mean exactly? You got different innings that you're going to attend or what?
Because I got the grafted thing in the morning, then in the middle I'm going to do that and then go back for the thing that night.
Man, you're all booked up, aren't you?
I'm very popular, Mark.
Fred, what I remember, Sue, you might remember this too. I remember Old Busch Stadium sitting in the upper deck because now, now I'm an elitist and I never sit in the upper deck. But back then, I wasn't elitist.
That was straight A student territory.
Well, but see, that was the funny thing about that is
that's the only way I know about it.
So what's funny is I did sit in those seats because I was gifted those from a friend who had better seats, right? So it wasn't my straight A tickets, but my friend Ken Deutsch, whose father had season tickets. That was Chuck Berry's accountant. I've talked about that before.
Cool.
But here's what I remember about the upper deck is I was at Willie's first game, at Willie McGee's first game.
Oh, that's neat.
But beyond that, I have memories of sitting up there and just sweating my ass off. I mean, up in that upper deck when the turf was 150 and then it was just miserable.
And in a community federal savings and loan shirt, remember that they give out at the Cardinals giveaway, and Mom would pop popcorn and we'd hike all the way up to the straight A seat.
Yeah. And then kind of for entertainment, you'd walk around the whole thing because you could do that, right?
Yes.
Oh, the good old days. So I got a couple of things here that I wanted to do music-wise, and I'll start it with this. So I have a good friend in Cleveland who is a roommate of mine. We go back to our days at Parkway West. Arthur Karam is his name, Art, and we are huge music people. He lives in Cleveland. I don't get to see him as much as I would like to. I mentioned him because he has a daughter named Kira who just actually graduated from high school, and 4 years ago they came to visit in the summer, And right after that, in the fall, she was diagnosed with a form of leukemia. And then they had it kicked, and then something came back, and she was paralyzed. She couldn't walk for a while. It was awful. But I often used her daughter, or his daughter, their daughter, as something to put my life into perspective because she was going through hell at the time. But anyway, we share music a lot. We like a song. I send him a song. He sends me a song, vice versa. So today, he sent me a song, and it was yesterday, but I didn't have a chance to listen to it. So I always like to, at least put it on one of my playlists and check it out. So he sends this song, and the song is from Tidal, which is my music service. We both use Tidal, which is Tidal. So just like Spotify or something else, you'd share the actual clip via the service, right? So I get this clip, and it's this older African-American dude in this smoky room. He's sitting down in a suit. I can kind of show you guys the picture of him there. And the song is called Another Day Old, and it's Eddie Dalton, okay? So I click on it this morning. I'm listening to the song. I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty good. I want to hear a little bit of it. It's got a real deep, soulful sound, and that's why I was a little surprised I'd never heard of Eddie Dalton before. But just listen to his musical stylings, if you will.
I don't move as good as I used to. Some days it takes me a minute or two.
Really cool sound right now. I'll get a little bit further into the chorus.
Like the wind through the pines, just small little pieces in a bigger design.
What do you think, C? You like that sound? I kind of liked it.
Yeah.
So my response to my friend was great, soulful sound. And here's what I wanted to know. Because there's a guy that I like a lot. I used to use him as my theme song, R.L. Burnside. He was an old Mississippi blues guy who passed away. But R.L. Burnside didn't really start becoming popular or even making music until he was in his 50s. And it's every once in a while it happens where someone breaks out when they're older. So what I said is, has this dude been around forever, or is he one of those artists that hit later in life? Well, that forced my friend Art to do a little research, and guess what? It's AI.
Somewhere better.
Oh my
This
gosh.
is AI.
He sounds kind of AI. Sounds kind of Teddy Swims about him.
So here's what it says, okay? You might not be too far off there. Eddie Dalton is an AI-generated soul artist generated by content creator Dallas Little. I think I've heard of that guy before. Emerging in early 26 now, the project's vintage sound is modeled after soul greats like Otis Redding, B.B. King, and Marvin Gaye. And good Lord, I cannot believe that this is...
We're just passing through time.
It's a good song, right? And I told you I have this friend in Colombia that's writing country hits, and he's trying to get them in, country, he hopes that they're country hits, writing country songs, trying to get them, in front of songwriters or, publicists, etc., and he's having the AI do the singing. But that is, first of all, here's what I would say about that. That was shared on my service Tidal. I think you had a story that
I did.
Spotify was starting to
crack down.
Well, I don't think they're doing it on Tidal.
Sounds like not.
So I want to know if something that I'm listening to is AI generated or not. Now I may still choose to listen to that, but
Doesn't matter.
It does matter
It does
to me.
matter.
I'm
Yes.
horrified by this because look, if you're a creative person, Fred,
Yes.
this is good news for you because if you somehow don't retire, you won't have to work with me because it'll just be AI Mark. I bet AI Mark still goes
You
to
mean
HR.
Mary?
Oh, that's right. My
Yeah.
name is Mary this afternoon
Yeah.
because of text messages. But no, I mean, think about. We'll talk about this. I want to play this to George
But it
because
won't bother. It doesn't matter that you like it.
I don't know. It bothers
It
me,
bothers
though, Fred.
me.
It
Yeah.
bothers me a lot.
So you don't like him now. You don't like that song.
I don't want to
that
listen
voice.
to it. No,
No.
because it's not real in my mind. I guess it's real for 2026, but that was really crazy to me. So I'm going to look into it a little bit more, but I would also hope that Tidal, I would hope that my music service wouldn't put that on there. But if they are,
just identify
they should
it.
label it as AI
Agreed.
for sure. The other musical thing that I wanted to talk about here just a little bit, and this is where I feel so dumb, but I'll test the room out here too. They have a new amphitheater that's opening in Kansas City that is somewhat similar to what we still love to call Riverport, and it's called the Morton Amphitheater, and it opens actually officially tomorrow night with Kesha. I kind of like Kesha. I wouldn't mind seeing her. She seems kind of fun to see in concert. But last night they had what I guess you would call the soft open. Now, we all have a friend. His name is John Canavera. I've worked with John since I was here in radio in 1996. He was working with J.C. Corcoran, and I worked in the building working with Franco and Pena at the time. So John went to work for Live Nation, and he's kind of been the guy that, does all the promotion. He's the marketing guy, and he does all the promotion for the shows. He has a really, really big role. In fact, they moved him to Kansas City to sort of oversee the marketing for this new venue. And I thought, well, that's cool. And it's great for him. And he's there now, and he's sharing pictures. And they did this thing last night. My wife was actually at the venue last night. She was there for an event because it was basically some sort of Kansas City cover act that was doing. But they had big
like
crowd.
a yacht rock thing.
Yeah, it was like so. Yeah. But it was $10 to get in or something like that. But they were essentially showing off the arena. And then tomorrow is the official kickoff song. Now, one thing I would tell you about the Morton Arena is that unfortunately, because it's new and because bands are looking at St. Louis in different ways, I think, there's a bunch of bands that are just skipping us and they're going right to the Morton Amphitheater. Now, this is where I felt stupid, and maybe I've already kind of tipped my hand a little bit on this, or my hat. Do we tip our hand or our hat?
I think hat.
Okay, I'm going to tip my hat. Well, Fred says hand. Why is it called
tip
the
your
Morton?
hand. I thought it was tip your hand.
I
Like
did
in
too.
Playing poker.
Okay.
Well, if you're playing poker, but tip your hat if you're being polite.
I'm doing both. Right now, I'm doing both. Okay, I'm playing poker and I'm being polite.
Okay.
Do you know why it's called the Morton Amphitheater in Kansas City?
Salt?
Duh, but I didn't know that. Fred, did you know that?
Yeah.
How did you know that?
Because it's
you knew it was
just
salt.
What? But why?
It's like the only Morton thing I know.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
That would have to be it.
Fair
Is there
enough.
other stuff?
I grew up. The first little community that I lived in was Morton Grove, Illinois.
That's
So
why.
that's
a disadvantage for you.
But so I thought, honest to God, I thought it was going to be like the name of someone, and I'm like, well, that's dumb because they do naming rights, right? Well, yeah, it's because of Morton Salt, and I guess what happened was, now I have this pulled up here. Now I lost it here. I did the wiki page because they were located in Chicago, but they have relocated. So let's see here. We'll go to the wiki page. Morton Salt is an American food company producing salt, crazy, for food, water conditioning, industrial, agriculture, and road highway use. I didn't know that. Did you? That they did, stuff for water conditioning and salt, right?
No, I
did not know that. Based in Kansas City, the business is North America's leading producer and marketer of salt. It is a subsidiary of holding company Stone Canyon Industries Holdings. So the company began in 1848 in Chicago. It was started by a guy by the name of Alonzo Richmond, and the company was called Richmond and Company at the time. And what they did is they were part of a company called Onondaga Salt Company, and then they kind of acquired that. And I guess this guy, E.I. Wheeler, in 1880, Joy Morton, this is Joy, worked for E.I. Wheeler and bought the company for $10,000 and bought a fleet of lake boats to move salt to the west. And then it was renamed after the owner, Joy Morton. Joy Morton, though, that has to be a male, right? You don't have a female. Yeah, it's a male. He was from Detroit, Michigan, and he lived till he was 78 years old in Lisle, Illinois. It says he's known for Morton Salt. But isn't that crazy? So I honestly, I'm just telling you, I did not put, two and two together, and it just clicked last night that, oh, yeah, it's the salt company. But I didn't know that they had the presence in Kansas City. The venue's a little smaller, by the way, than the amphitheater that we have here. It looks awesome. Unfortunately, what I would say about our friends at Live Nation here in Riverport is they simply haven't updated that facility in a way that is satisfactory to me as a concert goer. I think they could have done more. And I think I'm going to try to go see Mumford & Sons in August in KC at this venue. I have a feeling I'm going to be very jealous, but we'll see.
Okay. I look forward to your review of it. It looks cool online.
They just, the worst video screens, like if you're, and I'm always close because I'm a ticket snob, but if you're back or if you're on the, improve the visuals for people.
You can, definitely.
Yeah, you can. I know it costs money, but we're missing out, and I don't know that's the only reason that we're missing out on shows, but I was backstage there last week with Triumph a couple of weeks ago. I mean, they're not even keeping that area up, really.
Really?
Do
that's
something
too
different.
bad.
The bands pay attention to that.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, there was an accident westbound 6440 past Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Well, they've moved that off to the right shoulder, so traffic unwinding a bit. But there's also an accident westbound just before Boone's Crossing. That one has been in the right lane, so a slow go there as well. Now, eastbound 64, some moderate volume at 270 and then 170 through Big Bend. Westbound lines up at Kings Highway, and that goes out through McCausland. 44 is jammed in both directions in the depressed section, which is right there in front of the Arch grounds. We've got a jam eastbound, headed for and crossing the Poplar Street Bridge. There was some road work at 64 and 70 that caused delays. Now, northbound 170, a little slow north of 70. Where we have a parking lot jam is eastbound 270. There's an accident past 203 that's left us with a jam that goes back through Route 3. And westbound 70, a little bit slow at 270, again at K, and one more time at the 64 split. This report is brought to you by Barron Mirror Glass and Door. Simply the finest. They've got the largest, most beautiful showroom in all of St. Louis with the latest custom designs. It's in Chesterfield Valley. There you'll see why they say creativity unlimited, quality unsurpassed. That's traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Couple things I want to mention. Sue's News is just around the corner, and we're going to take some phone calls this hour at 4:30 on the income tax phase-out for Missouri. Had the governor on yesterday. I want to get reaction from the listeners, so we're going to do that here in a few minutes. Polish your thoughts. Polish them up, ladies and gentlemen. We'll do that at 4:30. I want to talk about the MAC. Sue, I'm in a little danger territory here for the Summer Racquetball League. They've only gone to 2 groups. So, I was in the C group.
No.
I got relegated. Remember what happened?
Yeah, you got
So
killed.
now I got to play people that I've never played before, so I'll keep you updated on that. But one of the great things that I like to talk about with the Missouri Athletic Club is not only the fun stuff that they do. In fact, if you come down, for example, downtown to the clubhouse and you want to head over to the stadium for the game, Cardinals game, well, you can do that. You can have some dinner, some drinks, adult beverages, head on over with a shuttle, and they'll take you right back. Great, awesome opportunity. But we also help local charities. We pick 3 every year. It's part of the Charitable Society for Children. Books for Newborns is one of those great charities. Joshua's Great Things, which helps families and kids with brain cancer. And Missouri Kids helps make sure that athletes that suffer life-altering injuries that really affect their independence and their confidence can provide equipment, transportation, home modifications. Missouri Kids does all that. And you can always find out more about what the MAC is doing at mac-stl.org.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey, St. Louis, need to sell your home fast? The Gelman team with eXp Realty can make you an instant cash offer in just 24 hours. No showings, no repairs, no waiting, no drama. Visit thegelmanteam.com to see what your home could sell for fast. Or give the Gelman team a call at 314-336-1991.
This station is now conducting a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mary Claire Haver, a board-certified OBGYN and menopause specialist. My new podcast, Unpaused, is the place for bold, unfiltered conversations about what it really takes for women to thrive in the second half of life. Every week, I sit down with medical experts, cultural icons, and powerhouse women to talk about what really matters. New episodes drop every Tuesday. Listen to and follow Unpaused with me, Dr. Mary Claire Haver, available now wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, again, taking some phone calls here on the income tax issue, but let's do this afternoon before we get to all that fun.
These allegations are deeply concerning.
Does the president have any comment?
We're not going to comment.
It's not clear messaging.
No.
And now, Sue's News. Brought to you by Sue.
I was asking Sue a question. Is there any audio that I should have?
I don't think so.
Okay, I don't think so either.
Wait,
Good.
No. My days, they blur together. I can't remember.
I don't see any. That's why I was asking.
It's early when I put this together. Okay. Happy National Leave the Office Early Day. We've never had that. I know that sometimes it's a holiday and they'll say things like at this office, everybody go home at 3, and we're all like, okay. Whatever.
Yeah, but there is somebody that never goes home, and that's Fred. And I mean,
that
you
is true.
You should go home early sometimes. Like it's okay if you do that. But he's here from I think 5 a.m.
what
until
time do you get here,
6
Fred?
p.m.
Then after the ride home, and I'm listening to you on the radio say,
correcting
hey,
me.
Get Fred in here.
Well, I know.
Or what are we
Okay,
doing
you know
tomorrow?
what?
I don't know who's our guest. And
But
I'm like
you
trying
text
to,
me.
That
I'm
is a
trying to
100% fair
Trying
point.
to voice text you while driving.
Yes.
No, that does happen.
Yes.
That's true. That's not a complete
Yeah.
lie. Yeah.
All right,
but
so we all fail.
You could still leave early sometimes.
Okay, thank
Like
you.
there are days that there's literally nothing going on, and I'm like, Fred, it's like, go.
Yeah. Uh-huh. It's also National Rocky Road Day. Fred, your thoughts?
Oh, I like Rocky Road. You mean like ice cream?
Yeah, I would think so. But, the example they gave today was a cake. I don't know that
I've never heard of that.
I've never had a Rocky Road cake. Huh?
No.
That's
I have some breaking news.
What's happening?
Are you ready? There is a piece of audio for you today.
I thought so.
That was not at first in there.
Okay.
But now it is.
Okay, good. Okay, wait, now...
No, actually, it's true.
No, it
I
is
have
true. Do you? Because I might not know what it is. I'll get to it.
Well, can I tell you?
Oh, wait, it's a
James Brown.
soundbite. Yeah. Oh, that's right.
This segment
I'm
is really
great.
polished today, let me tell you.
I'm really on it.
Yeah,
It's breaking. It's
we
breaking.
have that.
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
Let's see. It's also National Rotisserie Chicken Day. Now, I like a rotisserie chicken.
I do too.
I like to go to a Schnucks and or a Dierberg's in the middle of the day. It's like lunch, Mark, that's already finished.
And by the way,
cooked.
They're not that expensive.
No,
right?
It's
like
very
five,
reasonable.
Is it more than, what is it?
$5.99 at
$5.99?
Schnucks and maybe a little more expensive at Dierberg's.
Sam's and Costco's are really good.
Right.
Oh,
Ooh.
I've never had
The Costco one's
those.
like
Yes.
really big too.
Oh.
But that's what she said. But I will say that I use it also for I started doing some white chili over the winter, and I use that for the white chili.
Oh, that's very good for
Yes.
that. I find that Schnucks is now overcooking them. I'm just telling you, in my area, and I'm having to go to the Dierberg's.
Uh-oh.
Uh-huh.
You don't like that.
I don't like
No.
like going back and forth. Just don't overcook them. What was my point? Oh, it's National Rotisserie Chicken Day, and it's National Bubba Day.
What does
So
that
I
mean?
said I had to look it up too.
Good.
It recognizes those we lovingly call Bubba in our lives. I don't think I have a Bubba. Do you?
No, I don't.
They also say the name came from young kids who couldn't say brother.
Oh, all right.
So my Bubba. Right? I
That
get
makes sense that way, but I don't think I have a Bubba.
I don't either. I have a brother, but I don't call him Bubba. And on this day in history, 130 years ago, it's 1896, and Mr. Marconi filed a patent for the radio. So the filing of the patent for the radio was 130 years ago today.
Relatively significant.
Yeah.
What is radio? What is that thing? That's what kids would say, right? I'm so proud that my daughter knows what it is, only because I work in it.
Well, that's true. Well, but her friend
Or
who's
on it.
coming
Should I say on
is
it?
also working on it at
Right, no, that's
school,
true.
Right? I mean, there's some hope. And 93 years ago today, it was 1933 when President Franklin D. Roosevelt had a swimming pool built in the White House. And then eventually President Nixon had the pool filled in and turned it into the modern press briefing room.
Oh, is that
so
what that
that's
is?
what it is. The
Interesting.
briefing room used to be FDR's pool.
You know, that I'm wondering, maybe they've said something about that, but I've been in that briefing room. It is tiny.
Is it
okay?
really?
Oh, yeah, it's really small.
So
I
we
wonder
didn't
if
have a
they.
big pool.
Well, I'm just wondering. I don't know, but with the renovations that they're doing, I wonder if that becomes a bigger or
Yeah.
renovated at all, because I don't know that they've renovated that for a while.
Well, didn't he say he wanted it to be safer, or there were safety
Yeah.
things?
By
Was
the
that-
way, they've also announced a new White House Correspondents' Dinner. The remake date is July 24th, and they're doing it at the Waldorf Astoria,
Astoria.
which
Oh,
has better
really?
security. So that was actually
But
just
a
announced
smaller,
today.
Smaller venue.
Right.
better security than the White House.
Well, they can't do it at the White House now
I
because
see.
of the renovations.
Oh, well,
but
that
yeah,
makes
better
sense.
security than the
You
other
know why
place.
else they won't do it at the White House? Because the
Why?
White House correspondents say that would ruin their independence if they would do it at the White House. They want to be independent.
Oh,
They don't want to be
whatever.
connected.
So they're
That's right.
saying that they
Oh, I
wouldn't do it
see.
in the ballroom because of that?
Okay. All right.
That's a joke.
Could we-
They want to be independent. Well, you can do a lot more things to be independent than refusing to do something at the White House. Like, how about you accept your job at the White House and do that before you turn down any kind of dinner invites?
Will you hit James Brown, please?
Like right now?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I will.
All right.
Right, here we go.
Okay.
I feel good. I knew that I would not.
Hey, so I don't know if you had this music in here today, but I had some James Brown in the folder.
Hey, thanks. Hey, you know what? That's just the one I wanted.
Good.
On this today, this is one of my favorite all-time stories. 40 years ago today, in 1986, James Brown's wife, Adrienne, claimed diplomatic immunity while fighting numerous traffic violations on the grounds that she was the wife of the official ambassador of Seoul.
I love that creativity.
She did it for real.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's why we're hearing James Brown. She was an ambassador.
How did that work out for her?
I don't believe it panned out. No, I don't believe it did. Taylor Swift is releasing a song on Friday for the Toy Story 5 soundtrack. It's called I Knew It, I Knew You. It's about the cowgirl Jessie, so it'll be a return to Taylor's country roots. She says, quote, I've always dreamed of getting to write for these characters who I've adored since I was 5 and watching the first Toy Story movie. Yeah, so we'll hear that.
I've seen some commercials that look pretty good.
For
with
that?
the characters in
Really?
them.
I hope so.
I mean, it's the characters doing commercials,
Right.
not about the movie.
Oh.
But doing sponsorships.
Okay,
for
interesting.
things.
Oh, that is interesting. By the way, I totally missed Rickles. You brought that up yesterday. Wasn't that yesterday,
Yeah,
Mark?
it was
and
wrong,
I thought,
wasn't it?
No, I miss him. Whatever
I
he
thought
was,
it
he
was
voiced.
Wasn't he Mr. Potato Head?
I thought he was.
Yeah.
Yep.
But he's been gone for a while.
Yeah, he has. If you like Puppy Bowl, a soccer version called LG Channel's World Pup, instead of cup, you get that? You see that, how they did? You see what they did? It will premiere on June 10th. You can watch 48 rescue pups play soccer on any LG Smart TV or online. They are from 12 different shelters, and they will come together for the Pup Cup. Also, the website unscrambler.com looked at internet data to come up with a list of the most problematic words for Americans to spell. Now, these come up every now and then, but here are the top 10. Number 10 is separate. It's 2 A's. It's not separ, it's 2 E's. It's 2 A's.
Yeah, that can get you, though. I understand that one. Yeah.
Niece, N-I-E. People do E-I. Beautiful. Come on.
Look, I'm telling you, that one I struggle with.
Really?
I do.
Really?
Yeah, my brain has a hang up on that one.
Is it
really
all the
does.
vowels?
I don't know, but I usually don't spell it right, and then I have to do autocorrect.
interesting.
It's been the word for a long time. There's things that, there's probably a couple others, but that one for sure.
I remember, I think I saw a sitcom once where it was kind of like a Gomer Pyle thing. And he spelled it out loud, B-E-A-U-T-ful. So I can
And
remember
now you've
it
got
that
You know
way.
what?
Yeah.
That might be a great way. It's
Yeah.
little tricks like that, right?
We go all the way up to number 1, which is bougie. But in there is because, tomorrow, business, through, favorite, and bougie is number 1. But by Illinois, they broke it down by state. Nobody in Illinois can spell the word color. What? And Missouri, our big one that we can't spell is because.
How can you not?
I don't know.
The word that gets a lot of people, and I don't really get this, is lose.
Oh,
People
yeah, it
spell
versus
that
loose.
L-O-O-S-E.
I know, that drives me nuts.
Bougie. I couldn't spell bougie
No,
now.
I couldn't either.
B-O-U-G-I-E. And finally, in Sue's
She's
news.
cheating, Fred. Don't worry.
Yes, I am. We have today's random fact. In 1966, Pepsi tried to compete with Yoo-Hoo by making its own chocolate drink called Devil Shake. Huge failure, only lasted for a year.
I'm Dan Loney with Your Money Now. Cybersecurity firm Palo Alto Networks posted a solid beat last quarter. Earnings per share came in at 85 cents with revenue of $3 billion. That revenue number was up 31% year over year. Success in the quarter was tied to AI threats and the demand for sophisticated cybersecurity tools. It also came after lowered expectations in the prior quarter. Job openings surged in April, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Available employment hit 7.6 million jobs, which was a gain of 731,000 for March and the highest total in a month since May of 2024. But the hiring rate fell in April. Companies hired 5.12 million workers, which is down 419,000 for March. Another day of record closes on Wall Street with the S&P 500 crossing the 7,600 plateau. Dow Industrials added 229 points at 51,308. NASDAQ picked up 7 points. S&P 500 gained 9. That's Your Money Now.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
Let's just face it, right? Your home should work for you, not against you. Hi, it's Kim, and if you've been dreaming of a new kitchen, bathroom, or a finished basement, now's the time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design. They're St. Louis's trusted experts in turning houses into dream homes. Just imagine this, a spa-like bathroom, maybe a chef-inspired kitchen, or how about a cozy basement perfect for some movie nights? Their team handles everything from design to installation so you can just sit back and enjoy the process. Visit lakesidearty.com today to start your dream renovation.
Mrs. Weiland, why don't you go ahead and read the top line for me?
I should.
Next line.
Get my retirement. What's that?
Checked, Mrs. Weiland. Get your retirement checked.
Planning retirement on your own doesn't pass the eye test. Jerry Ricken and Heidi Ricken Provost at Ricken Financial can help bring your retirement into focus. Call 314-207-6211. Ricken Financial, making sure your retirement vision is 2020.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
4:32. This portion of the show is sponsored by Jerry Kelly, heating, air conditioning, electrical, and plumbing.
Freedom has a frequency. 97.1 FM Talk.
97.1 FM Talk.
St. Louis conservative.
Didn't I come up with I know we have like a sounder for Tech Talk Tuesdays, but didn't I have like a thing for Telephone Tuesdays as well? I thought I did as well, but now I can't really find it. I'll keep looking for it. There's Tech Talk Tuesdays right
Here's
there.
Ethan.
Ethan's going to slap my hand, and he's going to... Oh, I think I just saw it at the bottom of the other one there, Ethan. Go to the... There it is. Hit it!
There you go.
Tuesday, 314-241-9797.
Hey, look at that.
That was really low. But
I know it was really low. Like I had to crank my headphones, and then it was too loud when I spoke into my headphones. All right, that wasn't even worth doing. Here's the topic, and we are going to take some phone calls here because I really, and I told Governor Kehoe this yesterday, I am supporting the income tax phase out, all right? I want to support it. I want it to pass. I think it's big. It's bold. I'm glad that the governor moved forward with this. However, I think that they may have screwed it up, and I'm worried that it's not going to pass. And I'm hearing from a lot of conservatives who don't like it. They're calling it a power grab, and that the legislature is going to raise taxes on this and that. And the bottom line is we don't know that right now, but that might be, in fairness, one of the arguments against it. So I'm going to play a couple of the sound bites here from Governor Kehoe. And yes, the phone lines are open, 314-241-9797. Will you vote for this in August? Are you undecided? Do you think that you will come out ahead? Look, my math tells me, I'm not good at math. My math tells me it would be mathematically impossible for me to pay more in sales taxes than I do in Missouri income tax. Now, that's just my situation, and it's an estimate. But I asked the governor a couple of questions about this yesterday because I know that, there's misinformation out there, people making claims.
There's a lot of misinformation out there, and we said from our State of the State speech that there will be 3 categories that we won't touch when we revitalize and kind of regenerate a new sales tax code, which hasn't been done since 1931. We would not touch agriculture, healthcare, or real estate. Billionaires that have been largely pocketing money in the e-commerce sector for years in our state need to be accounted for and to level the playing field for our small brick and mortar businesses. So that's the concept behind this, Mark, is let Missourians decide whether they think we should eliminate the state income tax. And if they say yes in August, the reason of moving it to August is gives us more time to look at and work with other interested groups, whether that's family farmers, our business groups, our individuals, on what a new sales tax code could look like.
So that's the governor. That's what he told me yesterday. Now, I did ask him because, seniors are concerned because, look, they don't maybe have income that they're being taxed on because they're, living on a fixed income, Social Security, et cetera.
Listen, on top of everybody's mind is property tax and different tax assessments in various counties and communities across the state, by the way. This is the one chance that you have, since counties can't actually gain from a revised sales tax code. They have to stay neutral. This is the one chance where we have different municipalities to now to roll back some of those fixed costs that affect our seniors so broadly.
So let's take some phone calls and see where people are. Again, I'm a little surprised because I thought maybe the assumption would be by Missouri voters, we don't want you to confiscate more of our money out of our checks. Okay, but I'm hearing a lot of opposition to this right now, and I tried to gently tell the governor that yesterday, and I think he knows that. And one thing that he did is he put it on the August ballot. Is that a politically smart move? Maybe, because it doesn't give some of the opposition as much time to ramp up with ad campaigns. One of the problems with these August primaries, Sue, I'd even say this about today and what's going on in California. I mean, it's the start of summer, school's out. People aren't really thinking about these types of issues. So then turnout becomes...
That really is true.
Yeah, turnout becomes a question as well. Phone lines open, 314-241-9797. David, get us started here this afternoon. What are your thoughts?
Hey, Mark, I am against eliminating that tax. I don't agree that it's a big problem for people coming here, because I think that, Florida, there's a whole lot of reasons why people go there, tourism, et cetera, and then people want to retire there. But I don't think Missouri has that kind of a draw. I don't think it's the tax that's keeping people away. It's that maybe if you like to camp and hunt and fish, there's a lot of good stuff to do here like that. There's Wash U and the medical. There are things that do attract people, but I don't think, like some other states, let's say Tennessee, which has Nashville, and it's huge. So I don't think the tax is a problem.
Look, those are issues that a lot of the opponents bring up. But when you say that, are you basing any of your decision on the amount of taxes that you may or may not pay, or are you just philosophically saying, look, this is not something I think would work for Missouri because we can't really compare apples and oranges?
Yeah, well, I mean, personally, it'll be worse for me because I don't pay state income tax.
Right.
But that's not my main reason. I think all these other taxes they're going to have to do to make up for it are going to be a pain in the neck, and you're end up paying it somewhere.
Right. Well, and look, I understand what you're saying, David. I really do. This is why I wanted to take these calls, because I think people are, somewhat aligned with you in the older conservative demographic, but we're going to test that out here this afternoon. John, you're on 97.1 FM Talk. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes or no on this?
No.
Why?
Well, I'm 71. I retired this year, started working when I was 16, and my whole life I've been paying income tax. And now they're going to flip it and do away with the income tax, which I paid for all the years that I worked. And now I'm going to have to pay more sales tax to make up for it.
Well, I kind of understand that position. I mean, and I've admitted this with some arguments that I've made even on Facebook. It's hard to counter some of the arguments. So I understand. I mean, you're doing it. It's a kind of a personal reason, but I understand it completely. So it makes sense. Phone lines open, 241-9797. We have this high-tech way of Ethan telling me who's on the line. He's literally texting me. So I'm trying to do this the best I can. This is high-tech radio, ladies and gentlemen. Mike, you're on 97.1 FM Talk. Are you a yes vote? Do we finally have a yes vote here?
I am. However, I'm calling from the communist state of Illinois, who there are literally tens of thousands of Illinoisans that are poised to move to Missouri. So that tax burden is going to be spread out far and wide amongst several 100,000 people that are going to move to Missouri over the next 4 or 5 years.
Okay, but I like that. I like where you're going with that. But let me ask this, because this is where you get into the competition. You know as well as I do that people who live in Missouri, if they have the option to make sure that their car is registered in Illinois, they do it because they don't want to pay the personal property taxes. So if you come over here because you have no income tax, you're going to have to pay the personal property taxes, and I'm not so sure everyone's going to end up on the winning side of that.
Well, that might be something they need to readjust too. I mean, Tennessee and Florida don't have personal property taxes, so I mean, they may have to start implementing some toll roads, to be honest with you.
Well, look, I've always been a fan of toll roads because it's a user tax, and it, but that idea is the legislature does not have any kind of courage to do anything like that. I promise you that. Let's see, David, you're on 97.1 FM Talk.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I am also a Parkway West grad, class of 1981.
Look at that. All right. Are you in the Parkway Hall of Fame like I am?
Negative.
Well, you should be, because the standards aren't very high by evidence of the fact that I'm in there. But go ahead, your position on this.
Clearly. I'm so you know my age. I'm 62. I'll be 63 this year. And, I was going to say I'm a yes vote on that, but your previous caller made me rethink that, because eventually I'm going to have no income. But I wanted to talk about real estate taxes, which I don't understand, is that why am I paying real estate taxes on unrealized gains in the market versus what I paid for my home when I bought it?
Well, that's a whole nother question.
Because they want more money, of course.
That's
the
answer.
Clearly,
that's a great point.
I get that part of it, but that's the unfairness about it, right?
Mm-hmm. It is absolutely the unfairness of it. But I think when I send this audio to Governor Houck, we'll skip your call, because now we've actually had a caller in the last 10 minutes flip voters against it. I don't know if that was my goal, but thank you. Thank you, fellow Longhorn. I appreciate that. Let's see here if I can do the math right. Nancy, hi, you're on 97.1 FM Talk. I hope this is Nancy.
Yes, it is.
What do you think here?
I just do not want it. I think we should pay income tax, but because it's going to hurt those people who make the least, who don't have to pay income tax and would have to then pay more sales tax on goods and services.
You mean people that live under the poverty line or something along those lines, right?
Pardon?
You mean people who maybe don't have jobs where they're paying state income tax but are under the poverty line?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's an argument that people make. I mean, there's no doubt about that. So I understand it. It's more of the argument maybe that the liberals make, but it is what it is. Tim, you're on 97.1 FM Talk. Tim, are you there? Oh, Pat, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks.
Go ahead. Sorry. What's happening is sometimes people are on the line and then they fall off, and then Ethan loads someone else. But go ahead, Pat. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to vote for it. I'm 58, and I got a number of years before I retire.
So you think it's a good deal for you? You've kind of done the math a little bit?
Well, I figured, I don't have a choice on paying the income tax, but, depending on what the sales tax is on, I can always decide what I'm going to buy and what I won't.
And that's kind of where I am on that. I'm going to let you go only because your phone line is terrible. So if you do get a tax refund, we got to get you a better phone line. And I apologize for that. It's just, it was not sounding very good. Bob, you're on 97.1 FM Talk. Go ahead.
Hey, Mark. Yeah, I would vote in favor of it, because I'm not so much interested for myself, but for the future generations. My kids, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren will benefit from this, because I really don't need it. I'm a low-income earner, but I'm not complaining, because I love America and I love the way the tax situation is going to go. Let's point that arrow towards voting yes.
All right, there you go. I'm not sure if I'm breaking it down here. I think there still are more no votes than yes. That's not necessarily scientific. Glenn, you're on 97.1 FM Talk. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Mark. Thanks. Hey, I can't believe anybody isn't voting yes. Whenever you get a chance to lower taxes, you vote yes. Lower taxes. There's too much taxes.
Right. I'm with you. I'm voting yes. But what they will say is, wait a second here. You can say that, but they're going to increase the sales tax on certain things. I think that the scare tactics have claimed real estate and, medical bills. That's not going to happen. The governor even made that clear yesterday. But I'm with you, because if you don't do it, well, they're not going to lower your tax burden, even though this one's kind of been phasing out anyway to begin with. Steve Butts will tell you, look, they voted a couple years ago to lower the state income tax. This would just be a complete phase out.
Yep, that sounds good to me.
All right, I like that. I like people who don't like higher taxes. Let's see here. Are you trying to tell me something? All right, Tim, you're on 97.1 FM Talk. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm for it for the only reason of just think about the optics with Florida. If the only thing you say is there's no sales tax, everybody's looking at Florida. Everybody's looking at some of these states for business to draw middle, higher income people that are going to start businesses, run businesses. So I think just for business and marketing optics, it's a win.
I would think
I
that,
think
so. In St. Louis, let's look at St. Louis. Kansas City's got a lot of wins, I think, that they're, pointing toward economically with growth. But when it comes to regional growth, look, my kids have no real interest in living here. I think my son in Houston might because he realizes how expensive it is down there. We have a relatively low cost of living. We have some tech hubs here that are pretty cool, right? So if you combine that with, wow, I can move to Missouri, take a six-figure, salary. Some of these kids are making a lot of money when they come out of school, and then you have no state income tax. Well, that could make a difference, right? But it also depends on the carve-outs and all of that stuff as well. Matt, you're on 97.1 FM Talk. Go ahead.
Hey, yeah, I would say no for my own selfish reasons. I'll get to that, but I think all the no reasons are valid. All the yes reasons are simply just, hey, less taxes, but they're going to get their taxes somewhere, some way or another. I'm more selfish. As active military, my income is already not state taxable when my home of record is Missouri.
Right.
So now my purchasing power is going to be less because everyone else is going to be paying no income taxes as well. So that's my own selfish reason.
I get it.
But I also agree with the low income earners are going to be hit the hardest because now they're going to be paying sales tax.
Well, in theory, more
Yeah,
sales tax. Look, they pay a lot of sales tax already, and that's part of the problem is that we're not exactly a low sales tax, state, which I think creates issues in and of itself. But, when it comes to this is me, okay? You are selfish. I'm going to be selfish. When I do the math on my state income tax, I think it's mathematically impossible for me to spend more in sales taxes than I do in state income tax. That's me.
No, I think that's accurate.
Not
for
everyone's going to have that.
a lot of people.
Right. So I just hope that people kind of, look at it, assess it. Sounds like people are. We got time for a few more calls in a moment. Hang in there.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Hey, Sue, this is a little different. I'm not yelling at people today. Did you notice that?
I know, that's very good.
I know. I like it. It's a good tone. I'm trying to keep it calm, right? But look, I'm being honest here, and I understand the arguments. I do.
Oh, yeah, because both sides make sense.
Right.
We've got an accident on eastbound 44, and it's just out of the depressed section near the dome. It's created a jam back into it. Westbound 44 is slow there as well. We've got heavy traffic on the Stan Musial Veterans Memorial Bridge. Slow-moving traffic headed for and crossing the Poplar Street Bridge. 64 eastbound is slowing on either side of 255 tonight. We've got northbound 170. There was an accident reported just past 70, and that has created a jam through there. Westbound 70, good out of downtown, moderate volume in pockets out through Wentzville. 64 is still lined up at Kings Highway, slowing again around Clarkson, and one more time at Highway N. 55, though, looks great if you're taking that. This report brought to you by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Call them for their 26-point tune-up. It's one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Always look for the genuine, the original red ribbon. You can even schedule online at overheaddoorstlewis.com. I'm Sue Thomas. That's Traffic 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, on the topic of saving you money, this is a great offer from Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage, a limited-time offer, and really an unbelievable deal for new customers buying a home. So if you're purchasing a home, he's offering you a 1% discount on your interest rate for the first year. So you lock in a 1% lower interest rate on a new 30-year loan. You still get the bagel loan, no closing costs. It's a win-win-win for you, and Stewie helps you save money. That's what he's all about. 30-year mortgage, interest rate lowered by 1% plus the bagel loan. Now, that's for purchases. For refis, you still get the bagel loan, and that's what it's all about. It's a great time if you need to pull cash out. You may say, well, I don't want to pay a higher rate. Well, if you're not paying the appraisal fees, the closing costs, title fees, no broker fees, you come out ahead. If you, some clients are interested in taking that 30-year to a 20-year or a 15, and he can talk to you about that. Stewie can get you closed in as little as 10 days. That's an advantage he has over competitors as well. So take advantage if you're interested in buying a home of that 1% discount rate. Google the bagel loan or call Stewie or text him at 314-324-4440. Stewart's American Mortgage, NMLS number 226715.
Hey, St. Louis, this is Brian Kilmeade. You know, I always have a great time when I visit you guys, and I'm coming back this November. So join me, Brian Kilmeade, by getting tickets for the show at The Factory at 971talk.com/events.
Meet Linda. She's stuck in traffic with hundreds of thoughts racing through her mind, like what she needs to pack for her family's vacation and what they still need from the store. But you know what she's not thinking about? her HVAC system. Linda is a preferred partner with Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Members of our preferred partner plan get 2 HVAC system checks per year. We clean and inspect your AC and furnace at each visit. Partners also get priority service and exclusive discounts starting at just $19 per month. Life is chaos, but with Air Comfort Service, you'll have peace of mind with your HVAC system. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Mark Cox here from my friends at Zero Res. Summer is finally here. It's time to take advantage of Zero Res's best deal of the summer. They can handle every surface in your home. The carpets, the tile and grout, the upholstery and rugs, your air ducts and more. And right now you need to reach out to them because, listen, vacuuming is not enough to maintain the cleanliness and the lifespan of your carpet. Go to Zero Res, 314-474-2020, and ask for the 97.1 special.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kraushaar with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Chrysalis Biosciences in Sauget, Illinois is hiring for multiple roles. Join a fast-growing ethanol plant transforming renewable energy with competitive pay, benefits, and growth opportunities. Apply today and grow your career with Chrysalis at chrysalisbio.com.
Want to make the most of your tax refund? File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it with a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
The Mark Reardon Show, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, we are taking calls on whether or not you're going to vote yes or no on the phase out for the state income tax. I think just, I feel more no's than yeses at this point.
I do too, but I've changed my mind several times based on what people are saying.
Yeah, I think the listeners
is very
have too.
interesting.
I don't know. Well, it's good to have a debate on this so people are educated for the next couple of months. 2 months from now, we're going to vote on this. John, I believe it's my client, my sponsor, my friend John Morelli. Is that you on the line? How are you?
Yes, it is. How you doing, Mark?
Good. I know you reached out to me recently on this because you're not a particular fan. You've got some concerns, right?
Yeah, I've got a big no on it for sure. I just feel like it's going to hurt small business real bad, especially in the construction industry and service industry. I just feel like people are going to be looking for, black market, someone to do the job for them on the black market or someone to do it that aren't not paying taxes. I just feel like Missourians aren't used to paying, I don't know what the tax is going to be set at, but say it's 10%, paying 10% more on their, having their chimney tuck pointed or their house tuck pointed. I just think it's real. They've done studies in other states where it hurts small business. When they pass this, it hurts small business. So, I could probably save more money, as far as paying taxes to the state, but I think any other end, it's gonna
that's a legitimate concern. I don't think we're going to be increasing it by 10%. But look, it's all relative. And unfortunately, Johnny, you know this, you have some areas where you're already paying close to 12% in sales taxes because of everything combined. And you have special district taxes, special business district taxes. So look, your concerns are valid. I think they may have really screwed this up. And I guess the good news I would purport is that I don't think it's going to pass, dude. I think this is really tumbling toward a big defeat. We'll see if it can be turned around. But thank you, John. I hope all is well with you.
Sure. Everything's good. Thank you, Mark.
Good to hear from you. Yeah, look, I'm telling you, business owners, they're looking at this and they're thinking about it.
Well, they should be. And again, the state should have come out and said, here's our exact plan.
That's the problem.
And that's where they, it is. That's what the problem.
And by the way, the legislature could have done this without sending it to the people as well. I think I have time for one more. Brian, you're on 97.1 FM Talk.
Yes, I'm voting against it, and pretty much the guy before me stole my thunder is because they should have had a plan before they voted on this.
They put the cart before the horse, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Bingo.
Yeah, that's going to be the fatal error, I think, and I don't know how they didn't realize that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, well, thanks for the call. I really appreciate it.
All right, Mark. Bye.
And I have one more David. Yep. Ethan? Okay, we'll take another David here, and that'll be the last one. I lied to the last caller, but thank you. David, you're the last caller. Go ahead.
Hi. Yeah, what's funny is that as soon as I called you, they made my point for me. I think that I don't even make a whole lot of money, but still it would be impossible for me to spend all the money that I save on my check from the income tax that I keep. I wouldn't be able to spend all that on taxes things. I think I represent the majority of people who live in this area.
I think so. I think if you do the math that way, but the problem is, here's the problem, okay? And I just have to admit this. you can't do, I'm not good at math anyway, but you can't do the calculation because you don't know what's going to get taxed and what doesn't. So it's a different scenario if you can see here, and they got the little calculator online, and you can see, but that's not the case. So now you got people worried, justifiably, because they don't know what's going to get taxed and what's not going to get taxed. So if you're in favor of this, maybe there's good news, because I'm always wrong about political predictions, like always. But I cannot see. I think it's going to go down big.
It may.
Yeah, we'll see. Thanks for the calls, though. It was a good, what do we call this?
It was
again?
a great segment.
Telephone Tuesdays. I haven't done it in a while. Forgot the name of the segment.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Watch out for an accident. This is northbound 170 approaching Scudder. They've got the 2 right lanes blocked, and I see a pickup truck that's, perpendicular, and that's not good, to the guardrail. So watch out for a delay in that area. We also have a delay on westbound 70 right at 270, a little bit at K, and out at Wentzville. Now, 44 is slowing in both directions in front of the arch grounds at what we call the depressed section. But now I'm seeing a jam on westbound 44, and turns out it's an accident just before Hampton. Traffic is really jammed behind it. And 64 has the usual volume. Kings Highway in pockets on out, and that goes all the way out through the 70 split, but it's not a parking lot. Headed into Illinois, slow-moving traffic eastbound 64, crossing the bridge, and eastbound 70 is slowing at 64. 64 itself slows at 255. This report is brought to you by me. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
We do give Sue a discount when we charge her for the sponsorship.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Honey, I found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Oh, you are, but this one's certified, background check, shows up on time, and can install all the ceiling fans.
Heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. Trusted pros who do it right.
Well, I love my friends, Mark and Neil Gelman, because they are my friends. I've known them for a long time. I've used them as my realtors. I'd like you to use them as your realtors with eXp Realty here in St. Louis, because they're professionals. They know the market extremely well. They know that right now in the market, even though you can potentially get above asking price when it comes to an offer on your home, it doesn't automatically come. You may need to do some things. It has to be move-in ready. They may, hand out some tough medicine. But you can also, just kind of as a little researcher, if you're wondering what your home might be worth, go to the website at thegelmanteam.com. You're going to find a tab that says, how much is my home really worth? Find out for free. And within 30 seconds, you get your address in there. It'll kick you back a price. They've invested in some really, really good software. And it's a price that you might actually run with if you put the house on the market. Now, you got to decide that with the team. But if you are interested in buying or selling right now, go with the best here in St. Louis, the Gelman Team with eXp Realty, 336-1991, the website, thegelmanteam.com. Certain restrictions apply.
This is Jordan Walker. Celebrate Black Heritage Day, presented by your quality Ford dealers on Sunday, June 28th at Busch Stadium. This special culture and community event honors the impact, history, and legacy of the Black community in baseball and beyond. With a special themed ticket, you'll receive an exclusive Cardinals jersey designed by Corey Rogers. And don't miss a special heritage celebration in Budweiser Terrace before the game. Details and tickets at cardinals.com/theme.
The weekend starts here. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live at Busch Stadium. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Lou with $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at Cardinals.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
KFTK FM Florissant, an Odyssey station.
Fox News, Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche announcing a $1.8 billion fund meant to compensate political allies of President Trump is not moving forward. The announcement coming during a hearing on Capitol Hill.
Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche didn't talk in his opening statement about the $1.8 billion compensation fund, of which payouts have been paused by a federal judge. The subcommittee's ranking member, Grace Meng, pressed Blanche to give Americans a final decision.
And I think they would love to be reassured that this fund will not progress.
I'm telling you it's not. I guess I'm not sure. I'm not trying to be flippant with you. I'm just saying I'm telling you it's not.
The fund got pushback from Democrats and from many Republicans as well. GOP members said they needed assurances the fund would be ended before moving ahead with securing immigration enforcement funding.
Fox's Gernal Scott, the U.S. military says it's fired a missile to stop another oil tanker trying to reach an Iranian port in violation of the blockade, as President Trump pushes back against reports that talks between the U.S. and Iran have broken down.
President Trump posting on Truth Social, quote, "The conversations between us have been going on continuously, including 4 days ago, 3 days ago, 2 days ago, 1 day ago, and today. Where they lead, one never knows." Iranian state media reported that Iranian peace negotiators would cut off communications with the U.S. unless there was a ceasefire in southern Lebanon between Israeli and Iranian-backed Hezbollah forces.
Fox's Max Gordon in Tel Aviv. This is Secretary of State Marco Rubio tells the Senate panel he's optimistic the nuclear talks with Iran will resume with one condition.
They have to commit to their willingness to do that. For example, they have to commit to say, we will dispose of the enriched uranium. And the question now is, what are the mechanisms by which we do so?
America is listening to Fox News.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She can get a deal. Book telehealth if she feel.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Our days continue to get longer. That sunset hanging right around 8 o'clock in the evening, and it's a beautiful evening. Clear skies, 57 for the overnight low. On Wednesday, sunny skies, nice day from start to finish. Comfortable humidity levels, 81. Wednesday night, clear skies, 59. Thursday, sunny. It's a little warmer, 86. Friday, partly sunny, spot of afternoon showers and thunder showers. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
You know, about an hour ago, we were heading into the 4 o'clock hour. I played this song that was shared by a friend of mine today. It was a really good song, and I was asking him, a little bit more about the artist, and then we determined, unbeknownst to him and I, that it was an AI singer. So that's one of the topics we'll talk about with George Rosenthal. Tech Talk Tuesday is coming up at the bottom of the hour, and we always talk about a lot of fun stuff with him, and he has a big list. We never get to the entire list of what he wants to talk about. Here's one, though. MIT students create electrodes that move your muscles using AI to do things like play piano, drawing, and mixing drinks. Are you kidding me? See, like if I had this available when I was 14 years old and I bought that Fender Mustang. I could have been a rock star beyond all rock stars because I could have just programmed my hands to play the guitar in a certain way.
I'm sure that's very natural sounding.
But some of this stuff is just crazy.
No,
isn't
it is. It's completely nuts.
All right, so that's going to be a segment that either dazzles you or scares the living daylights out of you. But this is kind of fun, and we'll talk about this with George too. I'm going over to ThrottleNet tomorrow because you know this, Sue. Every week we do this. He talks about AI. He's like, Mark, you need to do this. And my wife uses ChatGPT, and I think she uses some of the others for business, in sharpening up some documents or whatever.
Yeah.
And George has made the offer, so I'm going to take him up on the offer. I think I'm heading over at like 8:30, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning for a couple hours, and I'm going to. So I will come back a different AI person tomorrow, and I'll either be more scared or maybe a little bit more open-minded to the options that it will afford me. Because, again, one of the things that we always talk about with this, and George makes it a point, some of this stuff is really positive in the ways that it can help you.
Very helpful.
It's just the other parts that are kind of scary that are taking over our lives. So we'll get to that a little bit later. Plus, I'll have audio cut of the day. We are visited this hour by my daughter for the second time in 3 shows because we're going to the baseball game tonight, and her friend, our neighbor, Amanda Mertens, is here as well. Amanda works at the Rockwood Summit radio station. You might remember they came in for a fish fry.
Yes, I do remember that.
So she's looking at the equipment that we have in here, and I told her, man, the studio looks a lot better than it did 3 weeks ago because we just got an upgrade, which is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, one of my favorite guests all the time, Curtis Houck, is on the phone, patiently listening to me rant and rave here. He is managing editor of Newsbusters at the Media Research Center. Hello, Curtis. How are you this afternoon?
Hello. Good.
I love this Scott Pelley is a whining baby story more than anything else right now because the storyline has emerged that he kind of made some trouble at a staff meeting last week where Barry Weiss introduced the new executive producer of 60 Minutes, didn't he?
Did you know that saying I am Spartacus will not end well for you?
He thinks it will, though.
He thinks it will. I mean, I did not know that, that bad-mouthing your bosses in the middle of a team meeting is the way to go. Like, if you don't get what you want, you just stand up and accuse them of having no qualifications, among other things. And, I guess they'll just quit or something. That's kind of where we are. Scott Pelley is such an ignorant guy. I've heard from a lot of people inside CBS, and they are not happy with him and the people there, giving them a bad eye.
Yeah, well, he's amongst, I think he is amongst the worst over there. And, what I would love to say, I'd love to have a moment with Scott Pelley legit and have a conversation because one of the things, as you know, that Barry asked in the fall was, why do you think the American people think that, you're biased, that we're biased? And there was stunned silence. They were so non-aware. They lacked self-awareness so much that they really didn't even know why people might not trust the elites at 60 Minutes. So I wrote an email, and I don't know if it'll ever get to him, but we had an instance, and I think I've spoken to you about this before with Bill Whitaker, who is a correspondent for 60 Minutes. So I sent Bill.
With Ferguson.
Yeah, well, no, but this was about Kim Gardner, our prosecutor, right? They probably did some crap about Ferguson, too, I guarantee you. But more recently, Kim Gardner, terrible circuit attorney, she was doing things that was really kind of ensuring that criminals could walk the streets. It was like what's her name from, or the dude in L.A., it was like that on steroids here in St. Louis. So anyway, Bill Whitaker and the guy named Jeff Pegues, you remember him, he did the same thing for CBS News. They come to town, they paint St. Louis as a racist city. They don't talk to any Democrats. I begged Jeff Pegues. I said, Jeff, don't talk to me. I'm a conservative talk show host. I can put you in front of Democrats, even black Democrats, that will criticize Kim Gardner. So I wrote this to Bill Whitaker this morning, and I don't know if it'll get to him, but I said, the staff seems very confused about allegations of bias. But guess what, Bill? I can prove your bias. You came to St. Louis to do a BS piece on Kim Gardner, painting my entire city as racist. What you did was journalistic malpractice. And if you still don't realize why, I'd suggest using Google or AI. She got booted, and I guess it was all because of racism, unquote, because actually it was because she sucked at her job. She was terrible, and Democrats knew that. But you wouldn't talk to anyone that strayed from your BS narrative. So that, Bill Whitaker, is why the country doesn't trust you anymore. It's your fault. It's not Barry Weiss's fault. Scott Pelley's arrogance made me spit Diet Coke out of my nose. I laughed so hard. I hope she fires Scott, you, and any other propagandist. I'd love to talk to you about this, Bill, on my show. I can put you in touch with my producer. What do you say? You think I'll get an offer from Mr. Whitaker back saying, yeah, let's chat? But the arrogance is unbelievable on the part of these CBS reporters and producers.
Yeah, sorry, Mark, I don't think so. Unfortunately. I mean, the thing is, they think this makes them look good.
I know.
Oliver Darcy
it
wrote
does.
2 newsletters yesterday talking about how great this was, and it was about time someone stood up. And I'm like, again, I go back to, in any other profession, guys, would this work?
No.
The answer is no. No, whatsoever. And they can't answer Barry's question. Why do people not trust us? Well, it's someone else's fault. It's Donald Trump's fault. We all have people in our lives who do this, guys. Who say, oh, it's someone else's fault. And this is the fundamental flaw of these people. They are the most arrogant profession in America, more so than national politicians. They say that they don't want to be the story. They love being the story, guys. They love being the center of attention.
There's no doubt about that. Absolutely. And, you know, they love, and this is one of the reasons they're offended. I think it was the Washington Free Beacon who tweeted this, because some people say that it's offensive that they hired Barry because, unlike the network's existing staffers who have, quote, dedicated their entire careers to understanding and developing the skills that are needed, she has, quote, zero experience in television. And then they kind of had this in parentheses. Well, CBS is reporting, CBS News is losing $50 million a year. So whatever they're doing is not working, right? So then she comes in and she's made some modest changes. And by the way, I don't even think they're going to change 60 Minutes that much. She got rid of Sharon Alfonsi and a couple of the others. Curtis, what I've said in the last few weeks, and I don't know if this is because of Barry or not, but when 60 Minutes tackles a story that is apolitical, and they've done that a few times recently, more feature stories, right? I think they've been really good. I think the reporting's been excellent. But the bias seeps through on all these political stories, and that's what I think Barry is trying to get around. Not to just do bias in the other direction, but to say, hey, let's look at this from different perspectives and not go in with the narrative already set like Bill Whitaker did here in St. Louis.
Remember, that's all she wanted from Sharon Alfonsi. Did you get an on-the-record quote from the administration? That was it.
Yeah, and she didn't like that at all, right?
No. And yada, yada, yada. She sends this long email saying she's subject to political pressure, guys. Political pressures. That this is censorship. Cecilia Vega is the other one, guys.
Right.
That you have to take a name of. She was at ABC News for a long time, came over to CBS. She was she had mentioned DEI, that she was the first Latina correspondent, that they fired the first Latina correspondent. And to that, I honestly say I don't care. And that's kind of part of the issue here. That the bullet train story that they did a few weeks ago, phenomenal, about California, tens of billions of dollars going nowhere.
And see, there you
Do
go.
more of that.
That's an example.
It's good governance, basic accountability journalism.
Well, and they could have done that years ago. I mean, that whole thing's been going on for decades. Mark Halperin surprised me because Mark Halperin, who used to be, he was with ABC for a long time, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Went out. Mm-hmm. He's doing more independent journalism. He's pretty buttoned up on his politics. But here's his quote. 60 Minutes has done more to discredit the media as liberal than any other entity of the country. That's pretty harsh there from Mark Halperin, and he knows the business. He says Barry Weiss may be the best hope for CBS to restore its credibility. And let's also point out that this is not a new era, 2026 story. I can take you back to 1998 when Bernard Goldberg wrote the book Bias about Dan Rather and all the bias that existed in the 80s and the 90s. So it's not like it's new. They should be aware of where their credibility has been falling for literally decades.
Oh, and that book is still worth reading, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Listeners, if you've not read that, it is so worth it. It kind of talks about the way the media framed the economy, the way the media framed things like homelessness, which actually is really interesting today, considering all that's going on in New York City and Los Angeles and so on and so forth. And you look back to the pillow talks that Steve Croft had with Barack Obama. You also may recall 1992 with the Clintons. Steve Croft talked to them when the Jennifer Flowers news hit, and he framed it all as just tabloid gossip. Tabloid gossip was what he used to describe what was going on with that. And that all lays the predicate for them to say there is no there. The Clintons are just being hounded by a bunch of perverts or conspiracy theorists. And, and you move on to all kinds of other things. Sharon Alfonsi had a story. One of her last stories was celebrating social censorship in Germany.
Oh, it was ridiculous. It was an outrageous story. It really was. And it was actually, I talked about this earlier, because they actually have people that are proud of themselves for knocking at the door, just like the, Gestapo or the Stasi, more appropriately, in East Germany. And if there's a social media post that is offensive or deemed offensive by German officials, they're arresting people and prosecuting them. And that story that she did from a couple of months ago made it look like this is the greatest thing ever. People deserve justice for whatever, recognizing or failing to recognize we have freedom of speech in this country, at least, apparently not in Germany. So she's one of the worst. I'm not sorry to see her go by. One of the things that came out of some of the reporting from last week, and for people who aren't up to speed on all this, what happened is after there were cutbacks and some firings from Sharon Alfonsi and others, Cecilia Vega at 60 Minutes, they had a staff meeting. They introduced the new executive producer who doesn't have a lot of experience in television. And Scott Pelley stood up and said, you're murdering 60 Minutes. You're going to destroy 60 Minutes. He's apparently the guy who feels like he has the gravitas to do that, right? So that's a little bit of the background here. But when it comes to actual journalistic malpractice and bias, they're so unaware or unself-aware of what they do in these stories. It's rather shocking, even in this era, Curtis.
Well, I think some of them do know. They just don't care.
That's probably true. Yeah. No, I think you're right.
In some of these cases, a lot of them don't. I mean, I think we are at a point with Catherine Marr at NPR. You look at somebody like her. You look at, a lot of people at the New York Times. It's a perpetual Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. Am I out of touch? No, it is the children who are wrong. That is the ecosystem that we're living in. If you go over to Blue Sky, that's what they're saying. That's much more representative of the base. And the other thing, too, is they talk about how Republicans always have to be far right because they're scared of their base. Liberal journalists are scared of their liberal base doing basic accountability journalism. CBS covering this hospice story is seen as some sort of unforgivable sin when it's really just simply saying the government's wasting your money. Yes, it's happening in a blue state, but it could happen anywhere.
It was actually good reporting, and why something like that is partisan is just beyond me. But it became, to your point, it became partisan. So I don't really understand that. Look, I'm all for Barry's changes, and I'll be very curious to see, moving forward, what happens. I think that you and I and people that highlight this stuff on a regular basis are just looking for just a little bit of fairness in some of this reporting. I don't expect it to change that much, but I mean, good Lord, the way there's just no doubt. And you offered Steve Kroft as an interesting example. I kind of forgot about him, but one of the things that they said in the reporting in the aftermath of all this is there are some people that feel like what 60 Minutes lacks, and this is sort of a duh, is like that intensity of a Mike Wallace moment. Remember when Mike Wallace used to really grill people? And he would, I think Mike certainly leaned left, but he would do it on both sides, and he would put people in positions where they had to answer the questions. I, with you, have brought up, I think, a better example, and that's Tim Russert on Meet the Press, because Tim pushed everyone, and he asked questions, and you wouldn't know that he worked for a Democrat in Daniel Patrick Moynihan. We don't have people like that. We don't have enough people like that, unfortunately.
Well, I'll just say one example here is CBS had Jonah Kaplan report on the fact that a lot of the folks who were injured in those Iranian drone attacks are concerned about their protection. They're saying, we didn't really have any sort of air defenses. We really weren't in super hardened facilities over in Kuwait and elsewhere. That's not positive toward the administration, Like the administration, they're saying the administration left these people to basically die over in Iran or put them in a precarious position. That's not positive toward the administration, and he's a new hire by Barry Weiss. So to simply say that, this is just MAGA TV, this is Newsmax,
it's ridiculous.
This is Fox News.
Yeah.
Just watch the actual newscast. Brian Stelter finally said that in his newsletter today, and I was glad he said that maybe we all need to watch more CBS News to actually see what their newscasts are about instead of focusing on, Tony DeCopel, remember that second day when he did a Marco Rubio skit thing about all the memes that he's in? Or he did a news brief, not a full story, on the anniversary of January 6th from like 6 months ago. How about we actually look at the hearing now? And also, they still employ Margaret Brennan.
Well, that should, yeah, you had me at they still employ Margaret Brennan. But, I saw those comments by Stelter earlier, and I thought it was fake. I'm like, wait a second, this guy's actually making sense on this issue. I didn't understand it.
Yeah, no, I thought it was interesting that he even dared to say it. And I mean, my buddy Isaac Shore over at Mediaite wrote a column about this yesterday. That even in some of these very hit pieces where they spend like 20,000 words talking about how terrible she is, they kind of bury like 14,000 words in. They're like, oh, yeah, she's like complained to people about this and that policy of the Trump administration, and she says that this or that thing doesn't make sense. But never mind that, of course, because we have established this narrative that she's somehow MAGA, and therefore, we have to sully this guy. On Bilton, by the way, I should mention, this guy is making documentaries at Netflix.
The new guy, the new
Everybody
EP,
loves
right?
those documentaries at Netflix, right? And he used to write the New York Times as well, writing about tech issues. I mean, you just look up the guy on Google Images. Let me tell you, he does not look like a MAGA.
He's not. That's because he's
by
not.
any stretch.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. By the way, I'm going to talk about this here in a couple of minutes and play some audio. But how about we can use this? Like, what would happen if Jill Biden went on 60 Minutes? And I don't know, maybe there's plans for that, but do you think that they would ask her? I was actually impressed. Craig Melvin from NBC actually lightheartedly got tough on her yesterday, but I'll be very curious to see if anyone actually, roughs her up in a way that she should be based on the BS that she's spinning now with this book.
Yeah, by today's show standards, I thought Craig Melvin did a good job. Unfortunately, the track record at CBS with Joe Biden is not great, considering Scott Pelley interviewed him a few times, the aforementioned Scott Pelley, and he reminded folks that, he has a stutter. So when he stutters, that means he's working really hard on something.
Exactly.
And he even said to him when they walked to the floor of the Detroit Auto Show that, how do you do it, Mr. President? Basically, do you get exhausted, or I forget how it went down, but that was basically the gist of it. And when a journalist does that to a politician, how do you do it? How do you not get tired? You can just chuck that out the window in terms of it being a tough interview, unless you're being somehow facetious.
Yeah, well, that's because that's how he does his job for sure. Curtis Houck, Newsbusters, always great to have you on. Have a great week.
Always a pleasure, my friend. Take care.
We'll see you.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Some action out there. There is an accident northbound 170 approaching Scudder. It's blocking the two right lanes. Accident southbound 270 approaching Manchester. That one blocking the three left lanes. I just put that one on X at Susan6768. Accident westbound 70 at 270 in the left lane. Accident westbound 44. That one in the two right lanes. Emergency vehicles eastbound 44. This is past the Poplar Street Bridge. They've got the right lane blocked. And an accident northbound 55 at Gasconade. Watch for that one in the right lanes. So really a slow go in some areas tonight. We've got heavy traffic eastbound on the Poplar Street Bridge, eastbound 64 at 255, and eastbound 70 right at the 70-64 split. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I'll play some of that audio that I have from Dr. Jill here in a moment. Let's talk about Generator Supercenter of St. Louis. If you would like to get a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer, well, I can guide you into that. It's very simple. They have a warehouse out in Chesterfield on the airport road. The website really has everything you need, which is generatorsupercenterofstlouis.com. But this gives you peace of mind. The free estimate's going to offer you a little bit of an idea of what you're maybe looking at here. But they have financing available, low monthly payments. You don't have to be the person that is out of town worrying about whether or not your food is going to spoil. You get peace of mind. And there's 24-hour monitoring as well. And this is all they do at Generator Supercenter is generators. So you do have competitors that cannot offer the certified service maintenance and the warranty work. They, of course, can. They don't sell portables, high-quality, high-tech generators to give you peace of mind. Generator Supercenter of St. Louis.com. Tell them that we sent you in. The number 314-499-2020.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4333. 314-887-4333. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-887-4333.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. One question I'm always asked is, how did you become the largest injury firm in the world with over 1,000 attorneys and $25 billion in verdicts and settlements? One way was our financial strength. Medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death in America. To prosecute a typical case costs up to $250,000 in case cost. We advance them all. Product liability cases can have similar costs with an army of lawyers on the other side. Automobile insurance companies have the resources to fight. Guess what? So do we. Many law firms simply may not have the financial firepower to work up your case the way you deserve. And we don't charge by the hour. No recovery, no fee. If you have a question about your case or wish to become a client, go to forthepeople.com on your mobile device or computer. 24/7. It's that easy. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Mark Reardon is St. Louis conservative.
All right, so Jill's doing her book tour. That actually is a very interesting question. You would have thought that if she was doing 60 Minutes, this is kind of the week that they would start promoting that. I don't know if she'll put herself in a position to answer tough questions. Let's face it, she went on The View today. This was actually somewhat comical, thinking about the title and the circumstances here.
Is there any part of you that went into protection mode of like, Joe, you can't keep doing this. Like, they're taking so much from you.
But the doctors told me he was fine. I'm not a doctor. I mean, I am a doctor.
Yes, you are, Dr. Biden.
Oh, my God. Right, with the doctors. How about, here's my question. How about everyone else that could see with their own eyes, including the entire planet, that he was not okay? So maybe you put your trust in the doctors a little bit, but you have to kind of see what's in front of you, and apparently she didn't do that.
Oh, she did, but she's just not owning up. Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Look, here's Clay Travis on this.
I think Jill Biden was power hungry. And I think she covered up her husband's clear mental and physical decline because she desperately wanted to remain First Lady and wanted to stay in the White House. My guess is that she wants to have some sort of viable future. She's a decade, I believe, younger than Joe Biden, and she's trying to cleanse herself from all of the lies that she told during the end of Joe Biden's tenure. And she wants to be viable as a political or public figure in some way, and sees that many people are blaming her for what went on. And so she's continuing to throw her husband under the bus.
Yeah, I think Clay kind of gets it right there. But that's why I would love to see, my question going into this over the weekend was, will anyone ask her tough questions? And we kind of mentioned that Craig Melvin did to a certain extent yesterday on the Today Show. And you kind of heard even Curtis say, well, like in a Today Show way, right?
How do you square thinking that he may have had a stroke with what you were saying in the days and weeks after?
I'm watching, just like everybody else was, scared to death, like what is going on? He gets off the stage. I see he appears to be okay. He says to me, Jill, I really, in other words, messed up, didn't I? And I said, yes, you did. And so we get off, and I know we're going into another event, or we have more to do. And my mind's racing. What do I say to him? What do I say to him? I'm his wife. I've got to lift him up. I had to support him. I couldn't come out and, really publicly say, Joe, you did a terrible job in debate?
No, here's what you do. You have a private conversation with your husband, with your family, which is the exact opposite of what you did. And you say, I think it's time. We're worried about you. You've had a 50-year career, blah, 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 all this stuff. But it's time to get out. because there's no way you can ever convince me that Jill Biden didn't see the same damn thing that George Clooney and all the Hollywood people saw and no one was going to talk about until they panicked when that debate took place. We never would have heard from George Clooney about any of it. We all knew, we were all highlighting his deficiencies, but if that debate performance was just a little bit better, we probably wouldn't have gotten Kamala, right?
Well, and she never, ever answers the question. And the question wasn't, how did you handle it immediately after? The question was, why did you lie about it afterwards?
For weeks.
Forever.
One more soundbite from The View here.
On Vice President Harris, do you think that she could have won if she had had more time in the race?
I thought she was going to win. I mean, I went out there and I campaigned for her all over the country.
Okay.
But do you think the abbreviated timeline may have made it too big of a task?
No, she was up to the job. Otherwise, why would Joe give her, say, here, Kamala? I mean, she was up to it. Otherwise, why would she run for president if she didn't feel she was up to it? I went to bed assuming she would win. I ran into the bedroom and I woke Joe up and I'm like, Joe, why didn't you tell me this? Why didn't you wake me up? And he said, yes, she lost. And I was shocked.
Do you think she should run again in 2028?
That's up to Kamala.
Okay, but that...
Are you kidding me?
Look, she discredits herself even more right there. Because if you're that politically naive, are you kidding me?
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Oh, good grief. We've got an accident on southbound 270 approaching Manchester. They've been blocking the left lanes and traffic jams back through Olive. There was an accident on northbound 170 at Scudder on the right-hand side. Still some slow-moving traffic there. Accident westbound 70 at 270 in the left lane, causing some slow-moving traffic by the airport. Westbound 44, there was an accident really close to Hampton, also in the right lane, some slow-moving traffic there. And in emergency vehicles, downtown eastbound 44 past the Poplar. So we're slow in the depressed section in both directions. And we also have a jam headed into Illinois on the Stan Musial Veterans Memorial Bridge and on the Poplar Street Bridge. 64 is slowing at 255 on the Illinois side. And westbound 70, slowing at 270, of course, but then past 94 and again at Wentzville. This report is brought to you by Barron Mirror Glass and Door. They have the largest selection of all of St. Louis, and it's full of the latest, most custom designs. It's located in Chesterfield Valley. There you'll see why they say creativity unlimited, quality unsurpassed. Sue Thomas with traffic, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, we have an awesome opportunity for you to get together with the team from the Retirement Advisory Group on Tuesday. It will be 2 weeks from tonight because it is and I screwed this up yesterday, I think. I corrected myself, but we're already into June now. It's June 2nd, so on the 16th. And we used to do these at Plaza Frontenac. We've moved a little further west at the Doubletree by Hilton off of Swingley Road in Chesterfield. It's a great room. It's a real easy location, and it's not a big time commitment. So if you're interested in finding maybe a different philosophy when it comes to making your retirement money last, come on out. Make a reservation. They're free events. We just need to save a seat for you on June 16th, and you can make that reservation easily online at retirementkey.com, or you can call 993-9494. Sometimes people like the group setting. Sometimes you want to go one-on-one. If you do go one-on-one, you can absolutely make that reservation online as well. They'll give you a free copy of their latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. But the seminar that we do is a great opportunity to meet the team, to understand what their philosophy is, how to make your money really last in retirement. That's what they're all about. RetirementKey.com. Get signed up today. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
License number GL2500615.
You're cooking dinner. The lights go out. You flip the breaker and forget about it.
But what if it keeps tripping?
Trips once, your breaker's doing its job. Keeps tripping? That's a warning. Bad wiring or something worse.
Do people just keep flipping it?
Most do, until they can't anymore.
Call Grasser. We'll stop the trip.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
When you ride, you feel the freedom of the open road. But when the road turns dangerous and an accident happens, the pain and confusion can be overwhelming. If you're injured in a motorcycle accident, you need someone who understands. At Kaufman Townsley, we're your St. Louis neighbors. We live here, work here, And we know how important your recovery is. We'll fight for you so you can focus on healing. Kaufman Townsley. Real people, real results. Call 314-777-7777.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
And this portion of the show is sponsored by Jerry Kelly, heating, air conditioning, electrical, and plumbing.
From Festus to Freeburg, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, we have audio cut of the day coming up here before the end of the hour. Let me take a look at my notes for tomorrow. We'll see if Fred has anything said. I'm sure he does. Oh, we got Dwayne Patterson because it's a Wednesday, so we'll talk to him about politics. Former United States Senator Jim Talent at 5 p.m., the very latest on Iran. So we'll do that in the next hour. It's Tuesdays. We have a little fun segment that we do with ThrottleNet.
Tech Talk Tuesday with George Rosenthal of ThrottleNet. ThrottleNet.com.
Oh, my goodness. I'm so much looking forward to our little educational seminar that we have planned for tomorrow morning. So that's really kind of getting me excited. How are you this afternoon?
Yes. Very good. Good to talk to you again. Yeah, be sure to bring your laptop and your tablet tomorrow.
I will. I'm going to bring my MacBook and my iPad, and we'll be set to go. Now, listen, this was not on your list, but I just want to share this with you because I played it earlier. I have a really good friend in Cleveland. We share a lot of songs that we like, right? We have similar musical tastes. So he sends me one today, and I'm listening to it. It's a guy named Eddie Dalton. He's an older dude. Listen.
But you live long enough.
I mean, really, really soulful. And I sent this message to my friend. I'm like, hey, is he one of those artists that kind of, because he's older in the image that I have, is he one of those guys that's been around for a long time? Or is he kind of a guy that hit it late in his career? And George, it's neither. That is an AI voice right here.
Yes.
And it sounds so freaking good. And it kind of makes me mad that I didn't know it was an AI voice. Yeah.
That's so good. I actually created a playlist of just AI songs. And I'm jamming to them in the car, and some of them are like 1990s hip hop, like Tupac and Biggie, and they're turned into 1950s, 60s soul music, and it's dynamite.
Oh my goodness!
Wow, so good.
Because Sue and I kind of agreed we didn't want to listen to AI stuff.
I don't.
Out of principle.
Yes.
I know. Out of principle, you're right, because it's not fair to the artists who are really creative and have the talent to sing and play and everything when somebody else is just basically taking, using text to come up with their own song. But that's the era we're living in. And can you imagine our kids going to a live AI concert someday? What are they gonna do?
Well, all right. So let me piggyback on that, because one of the topics that you have here, and it might not be at the top of your list, but you're telling me that MIT students have created electrodes that will move muscles by using AI to do things like play the piano, drawing, mixing, drink. So I can still be a rock star, is what you're. I can play piano as good as Billy Joel, right?
Yes, it's a prototype. It's in development, but these kids created it in 48 hours, literally a couple of days. There's, the little electrodes you can put on your muscles that make your muscles twitch. A lot of it can be used for rehabilitation. Yeah. Some of it can be used for building muscle. These are little electrodes they put on their wrists and their hands. And they literally are using glasses that has AI built in, tied to the electrodes. And they're looking at the piano, and you say what song you want to play. And the AI starts using the electrical shocks. It doesn't hurt, but using the electrodes to actually move your fingers to play the notes that are next in the song. I mean, it's incredible. And these kids created it that are still in MIT. They're geniuses. They also they could pour mixed drinks. So the AI would see all the bottles of the drinks on the counter, and you would say, I want to make this particular drink. And the AI will guide your hand to pick up the drink, pour the drink into the glass for however long is supposed to be poured, and then tip the bottle back over. It's unbelievable. It really is astonishing. And imagine, this is some 20-year-olds. Imagine what could happen if this was commercialized on a global scale. I mean, this could be huge.
Well, so it's so funny because you're so excited and the listeners can hear it. And Sue and I are both in here like we have these horrified looks on our faces like, no!
Oh, my God.
Please, no. All right, but we got to get to some other topics here. So one of the things that you pitched here was called the digital inheritance crisis, right? So explain what that's all about.
Yeah, this is actually pretty scary, and I'm glad we're talking about this. Everyone needs to be paying attention to this right now. If you do not have your passwords put somewhere where your spouse, where your business partner, wherever that may be, and you pass away or you become disabled, permanently disabled, the federal government laws will not allow Google, Microsoft, Apple to release any of your content to your loved ones or your business partners. It is a serious problem. You could lose all of your access to your GoDaddy domains, your financial dashboards. You could lose access to applications because, look, if you can't access your phone, the multi-form factor authentication, the little code that gets sent to you when you go to log in, well, if that person's deceased or gone, you have no access to that. So you can't log into anything. You can't get pictures. You can't get anything that's on that person's computer. And they're doing it for privacy reasons. I get it. But if you don't have what's called a digital will, and there's a real easy way to do this. It takes 2 seconds. I'll tell you in just a second. But if you don't have a digital will, it is excruciatingly expensive and takes a long time with attorneys to file cases with the government to release those passwords. So you need to go onto Apple. It's called the Legacy Contact. You need to set up a Legacy Contact through Apple. Google calls it an inactive account manager.
Okay.
So go on the internet, go look up Google Account Manager or Inactive Account Manager. And then also, if you're an Apple user, look up Legacy Contact and set it up. It takes about 2 minutes, but if you don't do it and you pass away or become permanently disabled and you can't speak or do anything, all of your digital world is gone and locked up. Unless, unless your family goes and gets a lawyer.
That's a real issue. It really is.
It really is.
Oh, man. Because, like, my friend was just out there in Las Vegas, but my friend Rick in Vegas, he mainly posts pictures on Instagram, so he has, the recollection of them. So he has those memories. But if he kicks it, then no one else can have access to those, is what you're saying.
That's right.
Crazy.
It's all gone. And then your business, you need to have what's called basically a break glass protocol, so that if something bad happens, there are policies in place to be able to recover passwords, to be able to get access to things. Because imagine everything on the cloud is locked up. So if your business is operating on Gmail, Microsoft 365, if you're out there operating in the cloud, your whole world is locked up if you pass away. And if you don't have the right security measures in place and you haven't set up a legacy contact, then you're leaving your business partners a nightmare to go out and get lawyers and file a court case to go through and get this back. It's terrible.
Yeah, that's really good advice, and I didn't even really think about that.
I didn't know that existed, and I can't find it on my phone.
Hey, put it on your list to walk me through tomorrow. How about that? I'm gonna do,
absolutely.
You're going to do everything for me. All right, how about the situation? You just mentioned the cloud and everything, but there's a bit of a showdown on that when it comes to privacy as well, isn't there?
Yeah, the privacy thing, the privacy thing in the cloud is absolutely crazy. One of the things that's coming up next Monday is Apple's Worldwide Developer Conference, and I'm really excited to see what's coming out of this. And this is the privacy of AI versus the cloud. So Microsoft, Google, OpenAI, all the AI platforms are having your data on the cloud. So when you talk to AI, like we're going to do tomorrow morning, your information is being stored on their servers, okay? Apple is not about that. Apple's all about privacy. So they're going to have the biggest revolution to the iPhone in the last 10 years. It's going to be announced on Monday, and that's going to be an AI processing chip, an AI that is built into the device and does not talk to Apple's cloud. So everything that you do on your phone, tablet, or MacBook through Siri will be on that local device only. Now, that's awesome. I love it. I'm so proud of them for not having to respecting all of our privacy. The problem with this is, and it could be a conspiracy, whatever, but because you need a powerful chip to run the AI locally, because remember, when you make a request on AI now, it's going to the cloud. Their cloud servers are doing all the computing, and then they send you the result back. Now, all of the computing is done on this local device, which means your old equipment isn't going to have the processing power to do this. So some of the conspiracy is like, well, now they're forcing us to upgrade to all this new equipment to make sure that we have the AI chip. You know what I mean? It could be, and obviously I love what they're doing. It's the privacy is the most important thing. It really, really is. But if you want this AI technology to run all of your apps on your phone and be able to talk to it and build it into your Apple home devices, then you're going to need to upgrade the equipment. And so that's what they're going to be talking about on Monday.
Luckily, I'm in a situation where I think I'm pretty updated when it comes to the AI stuff right now.
Oh, my gosh.
But you're going to help me out with that tomorrow, so we'll find out for sure.
Right.
I have another
that's
question.
Right.
If everything is on that Apple and it's in that chip, so when you get a new phone, let's say in the future when you upgrade, do you just take that chip out? In other words, everything is usually on the cloud and you just download it to a new phone. In this case, how do you do that?
So what they're going to do, from now on, once you buy a new device, then when you migrate all your data over to that new device, let's say you get an iPhone 18 that comes out, and then a year later the 19 comes out, and you're like, well, I want the 19. So when the 19 comes out, they have a protocol that's basically a process that is going to transfer all of that conversational data, all of that informational data that you've had with your AI over to the new device. But it's not stored on the cloud. So what will happen is it'll be temporarily stored on iCloud and then brought back down to the new device and then removed. But the point of what's great about this is you have ultimate privacy so that they're not selling your data. Everything you talk about with AI right now is up for grabs. It's up for advertising. It's up for sale. It's also being used to improve their models. Their language models. They're using your conversations to improve their systems. Whereas Apple's taking a gamble here and they're saying, no, all your stuff's going to be on your device and we're going to improve the models ourselves without all of your data. And I really appreciate that, honestly.
That's
I think
pretty
it's
impressive. Yes.
It is. And I'm so glad they're doing that. They've been very, very big proponents of security. You know, and of course that causes problems with law enforcement. If there's crimes, if there's certain issues that law enforcement needs to get on your phone, they have to have all types of what you call warrants. And there's a process to get into your phone, and it's because Apple's locked things down so well.
Interesting stuff. Wow. Always great topics here on Tech Talk Tuesday. I'm very much looking forward to my class tomorrow morning. Did we say 8:30 or 9? You tell me.
I had you down at 8:30, but I'll be at the office no matter what. We'll do the little nickel dime tour, and we can sit down and go through and get you set up on whatever platform you want to get. We'll start on Gemini, and I'd love to show you Claude. I think you're going to be fascinated with it, and you definitely are going to benefit show prep on the AI. Let me tell you, you're going to love it.
You're assuming that I do any now, so it really is not going to be a whole lot of reach. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 8:30, George. Take care.
You got it. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
ThrottleNet.com.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Boy, we've had great weather and terrible traffic this afternoon, although it's looking a little better. We now have the accident southbound 270 just north of Manchester cleared, but we had a jam that went back to Olive, so it's taking a minute to unwind. They've cleared the accident to the shoulder northbound 170. That was near Scudder. We are quiet through North County, but there is an accident on westbound 70, really close to Mexico Road. So out by just Cave Springs, look for a jam behind that. And then it's slowing again out at Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Now 64 is Kings Highway out through McCausland, a little at 270, and again out at Lake St. Louis Boulevard. On the Illinois side, 64 eastbound jams due to road work. Right at the 70 split, 70 eastbound slow through there as well. And eastbound 64 slowing on either side of 255. This report is brought to you by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Call them for their 26-point tune-up. One price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Always look for the original red ribbon of Overhead Door. Schedule online, overheaddoorstlewis.com. Sue Thomas with traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Audio cut of the day coming up next.
97.1 FM Talk in action.
It's Mark Cox. Our friends at the USO Missouri are looking for volunteers. From Lambert Airport to Fort Leonard Wood, volunteers help provide comfort and support to those serving our country. Learn more at missouri.uso.org.
St. Louis, we've got a problem. Home care is in crisis and there aren't enough caregivers to meet the demand. So if you've got a loved one with Medicaid and needs care, don't wait. Freedom Care was built for this moment. We help you get care at home from someone you already trust, a family member or friend who can get paid to help with everyday needs like meals, medication, bathing, and mobility. If you have Medicaid, it's 100% free to you. No waiting lists, just real care from your people right now. Freedom Care handles it all, training, payroll, and support, so you can stay safe and comfortable at home, and your caregiver gets paid after every shift guaranteed. With 97% satisfaction and over 150 million hours of care delivered, St. Louis families are already making the switch to care at home. Take care of your own and get paid with Freedom Care. Call 314-248-2449. That's 314-248-2449. 314-248-2449. 314-248-2449.
One of the biggest gifts you can give your family is peace of mind. That's why I trust and recommend Civia Law. They've helped so many families, including mine, right here in our community with estate planning, wills, trusts, powers of attorney, and elder law issues. I've seen how stressful it can be when a loved one passes without a plan. Families are left confused, sometimes tied up in probate court, and it can cost so much in time and money. But with Civia Law, you don't have to worry about that. They'll walk you through everything and even deliver your completed documents in just 2 weeks from your first appointment. And here's something special just for you. Mention the Annie Fry Show, and the first 10 listeners right now will get a free strategy session. That's a $300 value. 833-995-WILL. Just be sure to mention the Annie Fry Show when you call. Civia Law has 7 convenient locations across Illinois and Missouri, including in Edwardsville, Swansea, and Creve Coeur. Secure your legacy and protect the people you love. Call 833-995-WILL. That's 833-995-WILL, or visit CiviaLaw.com.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
The Mark Reardon Show is St. Louis conservative.
All right, Sue, I didn't bring this up, but there was a really interesting piece in the New York Times the other day, and it was written by a columnist. Let me see if I can get her name, because now it just got stuck on me here. Taffy Bertiser-Ackner. And the headline certainly caught my attention. It was clickbait, but it worked. It said, I profile celebrities for a living. Nothing prepared me for Tilly Norwood. That's because Tilly Norwood is AI.
Yes.
Okay? So she goes, once I went indoor skydiving with Melissa McCarthy. Once I smoked a cigarette with Gwyneth Paltrow in her living room. I once slept on a tour bus through Alabama a few feet away from Billy Bob Thornton. And then she kind of goes on and on about some of these. And then the world changed drastically. I went to London to interview a computer, a robot named Tilly Norwood, whom her creator calls the world's first AI actress. And, like the whole thing was weird. It obviously, I think, would be weird. She goes, she was polite, distant. Her answers were carefully constructed so as to not actually tell me anything.
Yeah,
That's kind of what athletes do, though, right? Her implied compliments had an outsized effect on me. Sometimes people pause before they answer a question. Again, I ask, was this that different? And she says, and she kind of goes into the details about how asking Tilly, how's your day going? And Tilly, it says, was created to be sort of a platonic ideal of an actress, pretty but relatable, young, thin, dimpled, freckled, charismatic but low-key, symmetrical but not too. Tilly is about a year old, though, but she looks as if she's in her 20s. She was wearing a blazer without a shirt on underneath, which any publicist I know would have told her was too much for a daytime first interview. But I mean, is this where we're going now? See, this is kind of my whole thing. I understand we have special effects in movies, and I understand that AI is going to have, certainly an effect on that, maybe in positive ways. But if you're a musician, if you're a creative type, if you're an actor or an actress, there's going to have to be some rules that are set down.
I have to imagine that there will be, we go so far and then there's backlash. Like, this is way too far.
Well,
we've got to,
We're good in this country at doing that. We wait. But I think in the conversations that we've had with George, we recognize that there are, in Washington, I think pretty high-level talks about AI. And look, the Pope even weighed in a couple of weeks ago. But how does everyone get on the same page? That's the thing.
And it moves so quickly.
Yeah.
The changes, and it keeps advancing when you blink. I don't get it. I don't know.
Something tells me that when I am in here tomorrow, which will be after my little class with George, that I'll even be more scared about all this stuff. But we'll see. We'll find out. We'll find out tomorrow.
Stand by. Playback ready.
Now, the audio cut of the day.
All right. It's Jungle Primary Day, so by tomorrow afternoon, we will know the top 2 finishers in the mayoral race in Los Angeles. Will Spencer Pratt crack into the top 2 in the mayor's race? Will Tom Steyer, someone who's even crazier, like far crazier than Gavin Newsom, will he be one of the 2 candidates for governor? So a couple of audio bites related to this. I love this. Bill Maher was on with Spencer Pratt. Spencer Pratt was a reality TV show. Bill was trying to talk to him about some environmental issues.
I don't need to know about solar, Okay, I need to focus on making sure the moms are safe and the animals are not being abused. That's my party.
I know, but if you're the mayor...
the solar panels, that's going to be somebody I'm hiring. That's my deputy mayor is going to worry about the solar panels.
No, Spencer, I got bad news. If you're the mayor, you are going to have to learn some of these issues more.
Solar panels. We're about 3 years from worrying about solar panels. We need to get all the naked drug addicts off of the sidewalks, and then I can worry about solar panels.
Yeah, I think we're way more than 3 years away from talking about solar panels, but that's Los Angeles. And then this is maybe my favorite. I haven't played this one today. There was a hearing Marco Rubio was at with members of the United States Senate, and Jackie Rosen, who is a senator from Nevada, asked a question of Marco Rubio. You be the judge. I don't think it went very well.
I was shocked to see that you were at a party with President Trump in Miami instead of accompanying Vice President Vance to Pakistan for negotiations.
What party was I at? I was at a party?
It's publicly reported, and there's photos there.
But what party? No, but you're going to say that. I'm going to answer it. I'm going to answer that question because that's an absurd statement. I was not at a party.
Finish my paragraph.
You're 100% inaccurate and 100% wrong. I was not at a party. Where I was is next to the president. Because in the midst of those negotiations, I was in communications with them. I know your staff wrote up this cute statement for your TikTok video, but it's not true. And it's not real.
I mean, she didn't have an answer because she was just, to his point, that was something a staffer writes up and says, oh, here's a gotcha moment that didn't turn out very well.
Nope.
I love Rubio. I think he handles himself so well. You know, look, there's going to be, in the next couple of years, we're going to talk a lot, maybe in the next couple of months, we're going to talk a lot about Rubio and J.D. Vance and how, you know, the machinations of all that are going to work moving forward. Because, look, Marco was a guy that I really liked in 2016. I think at that point there was, you know, youth issues, immaturity, whatever. But I love what he's doing right now, and how he responds to the media is outstanding.
He speaks very quickly and very accurately, and he has great recall. He sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Sue, have a great night. I'm
You
going to the
too.
ball game with my daughter and some friends tonight. My class with George tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow, and got a lot on tap, including, what did Fred say? I know, I always forget this. And this is that moment where Fred's driving home. And he's like, Mark, I told you like 5 times. Jim Talent, Dwayne Patterson, both on the show tomorrow.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We are looking better on the roads. Now, westbound 40, though, is still lined up. That's approaching Hampton out through McCausland. There was an accident eastbound at Big Bend. So if you're headed into downtown for the game, it's a little slow through there. Westbound, though, out west, just moderate volume at Lake St. Louis Boulevard. 70 westbound has a couple of accidents, one near Cave Springs, the other near Highway A, and that has caused delays. Headed in from Illinois, no delays on the Poplar right now, and we look good eastbound as well. Eastbound 64 slows approaching, it looks like it's still approaching 157. That's where all of the road work is. This report brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. For over 25 years, they've been St. Louis's trusted choice for transforming homes inside and out. From windows to bathrooms, they deliver quality craftsmanship backed by lifetime warranties. Go to lakesiderd.com to start your dream project today. Sue Thomas with traffic, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
A common question I receive is, how is the market right now? It just seems so volatile. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. If you want to buy or sell but feel overwhelmed by the whiplash of the market, then let's talk. With over 23 years as a broker, I have the exact experience you need to help you navigate this tricky market. Call me at 314-441-4444. 314-441, all fours. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Corey, from Air Comfort Service? Why are you standing next to my AC?
I'm standing behind our work.
But it's 8 p.m. You're just going to stand behind my air conditioner?
Yeah, pretty much.
Could you turn off the sprinkler then?
Absolutely. At Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation, we take pride in our work. If you need a new air conditioner or HVAC system, you can trust we'll install the equipment correctly. Plus, for a limited time, qualify for rebates up to $2,600 and 0% financing for up to 72 months. For a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695